We want to load, please. Thank you very much. Perfect. Okay. Headphones. Yep. Making sure all that's in there right. Looks like it. Good morning, Justin. Good morning, good morning. Oh, let me go post it in the Discord that I'm live. That'd probably help. Okay. Guess we'll play my intro, I guess, while we wait for people to kind of come in.
Let's get something straight right now. Just Mona does live, and this ain't church. It ain't brunch. And it sure as hell ain't your cousin's conspiracy chat. You step in here, you come correct. With facts, with receipts, and without that crusty attitude you found on Twitter. 'Cause mama don't argue in circles, don't entertain bad faith, and sure as hell don't babysit roles. Hate speech, gone. Misinformation, blocked. Loud and wrong, baby, we sweep. Tap that screen like it owes you rent. Share this live like you're spreading truth at a family party. Gift if you got it, support if you mean it. And if you came here to debate, don't. Mods, stay ready like receipts in a group chat. But if you came to learn, to listen, to push back on the mess, you're home. Welcome to Just Moni Does House, where truth snatches wigs and disrespect gets dragged out back and taught a lesson. So buckle up, baby, because this live, it don't play nice.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Or I guess good afternoon. I always have to do that. Good afternoon for those of you on different time zones on the East Coast. I appreciate you guys being here on this Friday. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's pre-Valentine's Day. It's Friday the 13th for all you horror fans out there and lovely witchy woos. So happy Friday the 13th. I hope everybody is doing well on this Friday. Uh, let's see. Let's do all of the good things as we get in, right? Let's tap the screen, share the live, do your daily heart me if you have not done so. I have the little roses. If we could get that, that helps push us onto the algorithm. And I have my 100 goal that I have every day. Guys, remember, this is my job. This is what I do for a living. So if you can donate to that, the PayPal, Venmo, Cash App are in the bio. I would appreciate you guys doing so. If Danielle is here, I hope you are in here. If not, I'll say it again later. I missed your 25 from yesterday, but W to Danielle yesterday for the 25, literally right as I ended the live, of course. So I wasn't able to get it to you, but thank you so much for your support. We appreciate you so much. Truly, truly. So thank you guys. How's everybody doing? Let's fix this. Oh, I see that we got. I asked you guys how you're doing, and you're just already mad. Already mad about Trump. Already. Yes, me and my husband. My husband got tickets. Like I put in for him like a couple months ago. For Water for Elephants, the musical tonight. So we are going to go see that tonight. So if you guys want to buy me a very small plastic cup of overly priced spirits, I would love if you would do that. So if you could donate to that, that would be awesome. I didn't bring those up actually, now that I think about it, so that I have them in the background would probably be a good idea. How's my grandpa Biden? My grandpa's dead, so that Biden's not my grandpa. But that's that's interesting. Not me. Bottom shelf champagne prices is crazy, babe. All right. Let's get the backup account pulled up. Okay. And we can start getting started here. 105 of you. Remember, I also have a like goal. So I'm on from 10 a.m. Mountain Time until 12 Mountain Time. I would like to get in the first hour 50,000 likes and then another 50,000 likes in the second hour to reach 100,000 likes total for the live. That would be wonderful. I'd appreciate it. Hi, Peter. How are you on this Friday? And we can get started with the day. I do have an outline that I put together this morning. But if we have people who want to talk on TikTok, I have somebody here I'm going to bring up in just a moment, and I will open the call line up when there's not somebody on the box on TikTok. We can absolutely have conversations. But again, I have conversations based off of factual evidence and not your feelings. So be prepared for that. Hi, Jeff. How are you today?
All right. Compliment right from the door. You have a great voice, just to let you know.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
We might disagree on stuff, but you have a great voice.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Did you vote for Trump?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Can I get your age and what state you voted in, please?
46, New Jersey. I was a Bernie's bro, but since the DNC rigged the election for Hillary, I never went back to the Democratic Party. So I voted for Trump.
Oh, are you the Jeff who sued or the... Who did you sue? You sued somebody.
No.
That...
No, not even close.
You sound like somebody I spoke to who was a Bernie bro and did the same conversation. He did not. That was the guy yesterday who sued Joe Biden. That's not him.
No.
All right. Why are you still supporting Trump, though?
My main reason is I know the border's not 100% closed, but to have a border that's not totally open is my main reason, and that goes. There's many reasons for that because that hurts certain communities. That hurts young victims, obviously, and there's no way you can disagree with that.
That what? Having immigrants harms communities?
Certain communities, yes.
How?
With the fact that, let's just say, if there's a certain minority group that could benefit more if there wasn't more immigrants taking other benefits away from. It's not directly.
What is your race?
I am white.
Okay, so we're not going to talk about marginalized communities because I'm a white presenting Latina and you are a white man, so we're not going to have those conversations. But what I will ask is, what benefits are illegal immigrants receiving?
EBT, Section 8, cell phone.
To me?
I mean, it's just I live in Jersey, so I know it 100%.
You don't
friends
know. So
family members.
Prove to me through New Jersey law, through federal law, that they are getting SNAP benefits, because it's not called EBT anymore, SNAP benefits from the federal government. Prove that to me.
All right. We'll just disagree. I'm not going to go back and forth.
Absolutely not. Because then all we're going to do is we're going to continue switching topics or talking about topics on a disingenuous premise because you're going to refuse to actually look up the things that you believe instead of actually finding the stats for them. So go find the stats for them. While you do that, big W's, guys. I want to see all 176 people in here put W's in the chat for Todd. Todd, thank you so much for the $100 on the Green app for Because You Are Awesome. Thank you so much, Todd, for knocking the fuck out of my goal on this Friday. I appreciate you so much, friend. Thank you for doing that. So, Jeff, go ahead and find me statistical evidence that they are getting.
I'm not really into the computer looking up stats. I go off my personal experiences.
How do you personally experience illegal immigrants getting SNAP?
because I know family members that are on it.
That are illegal?
Yeah, like white people do marry outside their own race and stuff like that.
Yeah, that doesn't prove that they're illegal. You know that non-citizens can get SNAP benefits, right?
Yeah, and white people have the most, but not by percentage, but white people are on the most benefits overall, but not by percentage wise. Yes.
Prove that.
What do you mean, prove it?
You guys, I got a visibility restriction, so keep tapping that screen and support, please. Prove.
So you're against the files, right? And young victims, obviously.
Whoa, we're not going to pivot. Again, you are going to prove to me that illegal
So-
immigrants get SNAP benefits, or you can concede that you don't have the proof for that, and then we can pivot.
Okay, I concede. I don't have the information.
Okay.
You got me on that. But
Cool.
there is sex trafficking that goes on at the border, and if you're for an open border, that
Sure.
means you're
We've
for
never-
young victims.
We've never had an open border. No, you actually put one in office. You put one in office. So
No, you're
I'd
defending.
be more
And
concerned about that.
I would say you're against Jay-Z too, right? Because he used to date Foxy Brown when she was 15 and he was 26.
Yeah. Why do you think that there's a partisan line to this? There's not.
No, because he's at the Super Bowl. He's a talking member of the Democratic Party.
He's a producer
He's at-
for the halftime
he-
Super Bowl show. What does that have to do with my politics and how people?
He-
what does that have to do with my
because
politics?
he's one of the main people at the Democratic Party at the DNCs. He's performing. Him and his
When
wife.
was the last time he
It's
performed at a DNC? When was the last time he performed at a DNC?
Well, the
Oh, he's
rumors
in
were they were supposed to be there, but either way,
No,
he's.
because
I mean,
Beyonce came to Texas. If you paid attention, she came to Texas and spoke. So,
yeah,
Okay.
and he was there with her.
And I didn't vote
Correct.
for Jay-Z. Do you know?
No, but I mean,
Okay.
if you're gonna affiliate a party with
Who's
what
Kid
you're trying
Rock? Who's Kid Rock?
who's Kid Rock? What about him? Bob? Big Show Bob?
Yeah.
What
do you
about
like
Big
his?
Show
Do you
Bob?
like his song lyrics by chance?
Which one?
Oh, about statutory rape being mandatory because he likes his girls young.
That I'm not aware of.
Yeah, or Donald Trump saying, "Hey, 10-year-old, I'll be
So we can agree.
8-year-old, I'll
We
be
can-
dating you in 10 years." How about that one? You liked that one? Or grab
So
him
we
by the
can agree.
pussy. I just grab them. I don't even wait. I don't ask permission. I don't even wait. I just grab them. I move on them like a bitch. That was fine too.
So we can agree that the DNC rigged election against
No.
Bernie Sanders in
No, he
2016.
did not have the votes. No.
Deborah Watchman Schultz
No.
announced she gave Hillary Clinton the questions that were going to be asked at the debate stage.
Bernie did not have the votes. And if you really actually liked Bernie,
Well, because
Bernie
it was
accepted
rigged.
it. Bernie, no.
Yeah.
No, he just didn't
Bernie
have
did
the
accept
votes.
it. You know why? Because I found out he's part of the swamp.
Guy. He didn't have the votes.
Yeah.
But
He
I don't
gave
see
up.
how
He
you
put his
go
tail
from-
between his leg. He put
I
his tail
don't see how
between his
you
leg
go
and
from
left.
supporting Bernie Sanders. Why did you like Bernie Sanders?
Why?
Yeah.
Because I'm more inclusive. And listen, I could change my mind. I'm an independent my whole life. Okay.
Cool. That's your voter
fact that-
affiliation. That's your registration. That has nothing to do with your ideology. What did you like from Bernie?
yeah, my
Sanders?
ideology is I want the best for all America.
And what policies did Bernie have that were the best for all America? You need to come back from your phone call, Grandpa.
What's going on, boss?
Tell me. I'll tell you. Tomorrow, truck 18.
Hold on 1 second.
Uh-huh. I didn't kick him, by the way. He ran. Go talk to your boss. You're not a real Bernie bro. Just so you know. You're not a real Bernie bro. Because you would never betray what Bernie Sanders stands for to vote for Trump. Wouldn't happen. Deal with that with what you will. All right, guys. 162 of you in here. Good morning. Again, make sure we're getting big W's to Todd, our resident A-Tab, for kicking out that goal for me on this Friday. I appreciate that so much. Thank you for calling the stream. Age, state, who'd you vote for?
Well, I voted for Donald John Trump, the greatest president we've had in the past 100 years.
Cool. Can I get your age and the state that you voted in, please?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm 30 years old and I'm from New York.
All right, cool. Why are you still supporting Trump?
Well, like I said, he's the greatest president we've had in the past 100 years after Joe the Autopen Biden allowed millions
on-
and millions of illegals into our
Can you
country
prove to
against
me
the
that
rules
Joe
of the
Biden let
American
millions of
people.
people into our country?
Absolutely. Look at data from our Border Patrol, DHS. You can see the numbers skyrocket
Which
of
one?
border crossings.
Oh,
Absolutely.
we track crossings? Where do we track crossings? I would love to see that.
Well, you could call them encounters, crossings,
Oh,
whatever
those aren't
you
the
want to
same
call
thing.
it. You've seen millions and millions of
They're not
illegals
the same thing.
in our country
That's not the
against
same.
the
What
will
is
of
an
the American.
encounter? What is an encounter? It
And
encompasses
on
three
day
things. Can you
one,
tell me what
Donald
it
John
is?
Trump
An encounter encompasses three things. Can you tell me what those are?
You putting me on hold? Is that what I'm hearing?
I asked you a question. You're not going to steamroll on my platform.
Well, you just
So,
put me on
an
hold or
encounter,
something.
an
What is
encounter
that?
encompasses
What is it?
three.
What am I calling a
An
customer service
encounter
right now?
encompasses three things. Can you tell me what they
This
are?
customer service.
Or I can just do that. It's real easy. It's real simple.
Like Dirk.
I know. I could hear it in his voice.
He sounded like Dirk.
He probably
Hello.
was Dirk because I don't bring him up anymore. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, no, it probably
Are we
wasn't.
booping the screen? Are we doing all the wonderful things?
We need
Oh,
to be.
here we
'Cause
go.
We should be somewhere near 25,000 by the time we hit 10:30 Mountain. So
100%.
thank you for calling the stream. Age, state, who'd you vote for?
Donald Trump.
Okay, can I get your age and state, please?
Yeah, I'm 21 in Texas.
All right, why are you still supporting Trump?
It'd be mainly the Golden Dome.
What has he done to get that?
And
what has he done to get that completed?
well, he started the plans, and that's why he started originally funding all that.
How is he funding that?
Well, I mean, he's been talking about it for a while, and it's going to be done by the end of his term.
How would he fund it?
From the currency he's been saving up. I mean, that's just part of the plan. That's just the main
he's
reason.
been receiving. What does that even mean?
Well, that's just the main plan that he's been talking about. It's the Golden Dome. It's not necessarily
and
like...
the process of that would be what?
What do you mean? Like...
When you put a plan in place to do something, how do we fund it through the government?
You're asking how...
Welcome in, Fax Raiders. I appreciate you guys. Do you...
Hello?
How many branches of government are there?
There's 3.
What are they?
Judicial, executive, and legislative.
Does one have more power than the other?
Not necessarily. They're supposed to be separated.
Okay. Who holds the purse?
I think we're getting off topic.
No, who holds the purse? What branch is in charge of the budget? That's what I thought.
Hello, Fax Raiders. Thank you guys for coming in. Make sure we're booping, sharing, reposting, doing all the wonderful things. Y'all, I was just on Steve's live a few seconds ago, just giving him love because Manny made him cry this morning.
True.
So I had to make sure I wasn't going to make him cry. And y'all come in and make sure you guys are supporting my girl. Support her in more... Oh, you already completed your goal?
Todd sent the entire thing.
Todd loves you more than Todd loves me. Fuck you. No, I'm kidding. W Todds. I love that.
Dirk, what do you want?
Well, you ran.
Well,
You're right about. But yeah, make sure we're doing all the wonderful guys. Tomorrow's
you can
Valentine's
still support,
Day.
though. We can get a head start on next week's goal. I have no problem with
everyone send all you can to her. Make sure you guys are following her. Make sure you guys are supporting her. Is your gift gallery lit up?
Not completely. So yeah, if you guys
let's see what needs to get filled.
If you guys click on my profile picture, and then there's going to be a little like bar at the bottom that says C4 gift gallery. If you click on that, you can see what I have left in my gift gallery. Now remember, if it's a multiple gift, like if it says I have 0 out of 5, you have to send all 5. And I know that that's a lot, but that's the only way it lights up. Thank you so much. That's exactly how we light it up, just like that. I appreciate you for that.
Is it Dirk again?
No. Thank you for calling the stream. Age, state, who'd you vote for?
Hey, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm great.
Okay, did you vote for Trump?
No. I actually voted for future President Kanye.
Why would you do that?
Well, I just really like what he's doing with Yeezy and.
Okay. So guys, by the way, I'm also multi-streaming if you guys are not aware, because it looks like I got small mini facts right over on the Purple Witch as well. So I'm over on there on Twitch.
Woo!
If you guys would like to go and follow me there, and then also have I am streaming on the Tubes of the U, and you guys can subscribe, become a member, send super chats, send gifts over there as well. I am appreciative of it when you guys do. So thank you guys so much for all of the support as we build this platform up. I do appreciate it.
Give my girl all the love you give me every single day.
We have a wonderful community here. I am appreciative of every single one of you who are a part of it. And yeah.
Okay. So I'm working on Manny's Valentine gift. I'm gonna so because he's the one that's out and about for work, I have to order everything and have it shipped here, but I have to make sure it's shipped here before he comes home from work today.
Thank you. I love you. Stop asking for the follow on Twitch. Thank you.
Where can I get index cards? CVS, right?
Yeah, I think so. I wouldn't say why not. All right. Do we want to do?
No, I'm kidding.
Well, I know we don't. Jobs or racism first? I guess we do.
Jobs are, that's, yeah.
All right. I guess we could do, we'll do the jobs report first, maybe. That's how we'll get it started here. Oh my gosh, Janine,
Whoa.
thank you. That's so pretty. Oh my gosh,
Gorgeous.
W, I love that so much. Okay, let's see if I can get this to work on.
Why are there finger puppets? Sorry. Don't ask questions.
All right. So this is what was released on the 11th, right? This is the jobs report. Now, remember, these have not been adjusted yet. So these are total non-farm payroll employment rose by 130,000 in January. Okay?
Oh my God.
Gosh.
Janine! That was
That's
so
W,
cute.
Janine. Amazing.
I love that.
So this, and Trump supporters have been coming in like, look, jobs rose. We talked about this yesterday. I pulled up the chart from the Bulwark again. I want to find it through the Fred. I don't know why I didn't do that this morning, but because I don't like that the Bulwark put the little like Trump's stupid economy and Biden's economy. But the proof is what it shows, which is BLS through the Fred through Fred, excuse me, is that this has been like the lowest addition of jobs that we've had for a while. But also, there's been a revision for the entire year of January. So, a report from the Labor Department on Wednesday showed U.S. employers added a better than expected 130,000 jobs in January, but an annual update shows hiring last year was much weaker than initially reported. The news came amid worries that the nation's job engine has been sputtering. Employment gains for November and December were revised down by a total of 17,000 jobs. Once a year, the Labor Department updates its job tally with more accurate but less timely information drawn from unemployment tax records. Wednesday's revision shows there were nearly 900,000. Oh, thank you, Scotty. W. 900,000 fewer jobs in the economy last March than originally counted. On average, employers added only 15,000 jobs a month in 2025. That's not good. It's not good.
You hear that, Trumpers?
This does not remotely look like a healthy labor market, Federal Reserve Governor Chris Waller said in a statement anticipating the revision. Waller urged his central bank colleagues to cut their benchmark interest rate last month in an effort to prop up the sagging job market. But most Fed policymakers voted to hold rates steady in January after 3 rate cuts last year. And they do talk about, so healthcare and construction led the way in the increase of jobs for January, and that unemployment rate dipped to 4.3% from 4.4% the month before. Some of the weakness in job growth last year may reflect a drop in the number of available workers. The Trump administration has slammed the door on most people trying to enter the country while aggressively deporting immigrants who've been living in the U.S. illegally. At the same time, many native-born baby boomers are reaching retirement age and leaving the workforce. Now, that is an argument we hear from the right a lot, which is that the reason there's we're not adding as many jobs or we're losing so many jobs is because of the mass deportation efforts on behalf of the Trump administration. Partially that is true. Partially we are losing workforce because people are either self-deporting because they're scared or people are being deported by the Trump administration. The problem is that is not a good thing. We do not have enough workers by number to take up the jobs that we need to be able to keep our economy functioning. And so I don't know why we celebrate it like it's a good thing, because we shouldn't be. So that was those. And then CNN. I know you guys are going to, oh no, CNN. But they pull it from BLS, so cry harder. Talking about the job growth by a year being some of the worst that we've seen since about 2003.
We just got the total for 2025. It's the worst yearly number since 2020, the worst since 2003 outside of a recession.
So what they're showing there is that for the year, job growth for the year of 2025 was 181,000 in comparison to the millions of jobs that were added under the Biden administration. I do clean my own place. I'm a house cleaner. I do clean my own home. I'm a stay-at-home mother. I do that. I don't pay other people to do that. But for people who do pay other people to do that, they should be getting paid a living wage to do so. You can cry about that some more. He's not doing well. They're pumping numbers. That's true. That's things that are happening. So let's talk about the CPI report that came out. Okay. This came out today. This is the CPI. This is where we get our inflation rate. The Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, CPIU, increased 0.2% on a seasonally adjusted basis in January. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today. Over the last 12 months, the All Items Index increased 2.4% before seasonal adjustment. So what that's saying is that last month, it was 2.7%. It is now 2.4%. It's going down, which we see as good. The issue that we have is that food and energy keep rising. This whole, job, he's going to do good in way of energy and food. That's not what's happening. Our prices are still increasing. Did I type that out myself? Type what? The BLS report? Are you guys okay? This is the BLS report, bls.gov. This is the numbers that we get from surveys sent out from the U.S. government. Are you guys okay? And again, remember that this also is a tracking of inflation, including where we have 2 months of completely missing data. Completely missing data. Is that a dot matrix printer? It kind of does look like it. You know. The index for food rose about 0.2% in January, as did the index for food at home. 5 of the 6 major grocery store food group indexes increased in January. The index for cereals and bakery products rose 1.2% over the month. Meats, poultry, fish, and eggs index increased 0.2% in January. The index for non-alcoholic beverages and the index for fruits and vegetables both increased 0.1% over the month. The dairy and related products index rose 0.8% in January. In contrast, the index for other food at home decreased 0.3% in January. The food away from home index rose 0.1% in January. And it increased over the year. That's our big thing, right? Is year over year. The food at home index rose 2.1% over the 12 months ending in January. Food away from home index rose 4.0% over the last year.
Ooh.
Like, what is he doing for you? Would be my question, because I'm not seeing it. Well, I do. What do you want me to do? The negatives, Steve? W facts for the 1127 on the blue app for, because I know you love math. You do. You know I love math. I cherish it in my heart and soul when there's decimal points. Don't even get me started about fractions. What do you want me to negative goal? Negative W goal? But W, Steve. Make sure W facts in the chat.
W Steve in the chat. We love ourselves some Zaddy Steve.
I hate decimal points. I hate them.
That's why I never talk about it, because if I did, people would be upset.
But I would
and they
be
would do it to me.
concerned. Yeah, no, I don't like. Can I round it up? I would be concerned about what's going on with pricing in way of tariffs and the constant back and forth and unstable situation we have going on with tariffs, because apparently our Secretary of Commerce, Howard Nutlick, didn't know what they are. I'm not convinced he still knows what they are.
By the way, if you thought I knew the first thing about tariffs before I worked for him, that would be false. I thought when I learned this sophomore in college was, I don't know, sounded fine to me. By the way.
So he didn't know what they were. He didn't know what tariffs were until he started working for Trump as the Secretary of Commerce. And by the way, I don't think they still know what they are, because before we get into that, specifically the people on the tubes of you and some of our MAGA here angry in the TikTok chat, who pays for a tariff? If we have a tariff on Chinese goods, who pays for that tariff? Answer.
Are you asking me?
No, I'm asking.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
You know, I don't think Howard Lutnick does. I don't think they do. I don't think Trump does. So that's what's scary.
No, they don't.
Who pays for a tariff? YouTube?
First, can they spell it?
Probably not.
I know. I found what I needed.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh, good.
I got rid of the finger puppets. I don't know why they were there. No one asked me why. It just was.
Green Day might pay for the tariffs. Facts. That might be true.
Don't want to be an American idiot.
Terrific. You guys don't have answers?
MAGA Jesus.
Importing company. Good job. Good job, Nigel. Importing companies. Okay. I'm glad you think so, because Donald Trump doesn't think so. But we have the Kiel Institute, which I've gone over a couple times now. So the Kiel Institute, America's own goal. Americans pay almost entirely for Trump's tariffs. Contrary to U.S. government rhetoric, the cost of U.S. import tariffs are not borne by foreign exporters. Instead, they hit the American economy itself. Importers and consumers in the U.S. bear 96% of the tariff burden, according to new research from Kiel Institute for the World Economy. It's obvious you don't if you think domestic companies pay tariffs. Twinkle Mo, you're saying domestic companies don't pay tariffs? I have news for you. Although the U.S. government intended the tariffs to target foreign businesses, the policy actually harms the domestic economy. Quote, the tariffs are an own goal, says Julian Hinz, research director of the Kiel Institute and one of the authors of the study. The claim that foreign countries pay these tariffs is a myth. The data show the opposite. Americans are footing the bill on food that is not imported. Well, obviously, domestic food. But here's the issue with domestic product, domestically made product in the United States when we have blanket tariffs in this way. The issue with that becomes prices go up for imported goods most of the time. There was a time early after liberation tariffs, for a while after liberation tariffs, that companies themselves who pay that import duty were just eating it. They weren't increasing the prices for Americans. But they have come out recently. Procter & Gamble was one of them. There's been a lot of other companies that come out and said, like, we can't sustain this anymore. So we have had to increase the cost of certain goods that we import to our Americans. So then that ends up being the consumers who pay it. And the what would you call it? The people who shop who pay it, not just consumers, because there can be a difference in the words. The issue with that being on imported goods is it can affect domestically, because you have prices shoot up for imported goods, and then the American companies can go, well, our prices are lower by, like, right here. They can increase the price, but say, hey, it's down by, 75 cents, 25 cents. That's not, I wouldn't call that a good thing at all. The research team analyzed more than 25 million shipment records covering a total value of almost $4 trillion in U.S. imports. The findings are clear. U.S. customs revenue increased by approximately $200 billion in 2025. Foreign exporters absorbed only about 4% of the tariff burden. 96% passed through to U.S. buyers. Trade volumes collapsed, but export prices did not fall. My biggest thing is that this should worry you, because Donald Trump still says that foreign companies pay the tariff. So he's either lying to you or he doesn't know, and I'm not sure which one is worse. If the president of the United States doesn't know and Howard Lutnick didn't know how they worked, that might be. W. Peter for the 2026 on the Green app for "Cause You Hate Decimals." Laugh out loud. Love your work.
See?
Thank you. You guys are killing me. You guys are killing me here with the decimal points.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. I'm gonna sit here. Let me see. What did we have? 11. Now I'm gonna start adding up. We're gonna start adding upwards. That's what we're gonna do. At 1127 from Steve. I can math.
I can't. I'm glad you're doing it. I'm not. I'm just sitting here looking pretty.
3153.
ordering-
I hated it.
We got there.
Okay. So in that same vein, on tariffs, Manny sent me this yesterday. For all of you who are saying tariffs are going to work, they're going to work. Did they work the first time? This isn't the first time he's
Nope.
done this. This is Cato. Cato Institute. MAGA, before you freak out. The Cato Institute is a right-leaning libertarian source. They're not like big lefty heads. They're not like democratically bought, like you guys like to say people are. It's not what's happening. All right. We're winning. They're just yelling. We're winning in the tubes chat. That's all.
I'm not looking over there right now.
Crashing out
Justin,
really hard.
Justin showed me yesterday he can handle it. Unless he needs it, he can message me. I'm still shopping for Valentine's Day, so.
They're just like, I can't do it. Don't talk about facts anymore, please, to me. Trump's first term tariffs crushed U.S. manufacturing. Attorney Robert Lighthizer, President Trump's U.S. trade representative in his first term, shares so this was his trade representative in his first term in office. Shares considerable responsibility for the stunning drop in manufacturing output and jobs soon after August 2018, when Trump's first trade war began in earnest. Trump's first year, 2017, ended on a promising note with a bold reduction of the corporate tax rate from 35% to 21% and a minor trim of the top personal rate to 37%. The prospect of growth-friendly taxation was already anticipated in the last quarter of 2017 with a 4.6% rate of GDP growth. In 2018, unfortunately, Trump's attention shifted to nasty, unpredictable tariffs, which had a paralyzing effect on business plans and world investors. U.S. GDP growth gradually slowed to 3.3% in the first quarter of 2018, 2.1% in the second, 2.5% in the third, and 0.6% in the fourth quarter of 2018. The S&P 500 stock index, let me increase this so you guys can see better. The S&P 500 stock index fell from 2789.8 in January 2018 to 2567.3 by December, which most of that loss was in the last quarter. Meanwhile, USTR Lighthizer's relatively painless recommended tariffs on washing machines and solar panels in late January escalated to a serious trade war by August. By June 1st, previously limited 25% tariffs on steel and 10% on aluminum had spread to include Canada, Mexico, and the EU. By July 6th, a first phase of USTR tariffs on $34 billion of imports from China went into effect, with another $15 billion added on August 23rd. A Peterson Institute study found the new $50 billion list targets even more intermediate inputs. 95% of the products hit are now intermediate inputs or capital equipment used largely by American-based companies dependent on imports from China. That was the farming market. That's when he destroyed farmers in this country, and they had to bail them out. And even so, with the bailout, many people had to sell their family farms and small farms to big corporations. If you guys don't know, look into this for this term. Scott Bessant is a investor in farms and soybean farms. He likes to say he's a soybean farmer. He's not. He just has investment into soybean farms. And if you guys also don't know what acre trader is and how JD Vance factors into acre trader, you should look that up. Thank you for calling the stream. Age, state, who'd you vote for? Okay, can I get your age and state?
Texas, 22.
All right, why are you still supporting Trump?
Well, right now I'm supporting a lot of his policies, but I do see that there's some fault in a few things that I do want to get your opinion on.
Sure.
So, how do you feel about the handling of the Epstein files and ICE?
Well, those are two separate things, but I would think the way he's handled the Epstein files has been he hasn't handled them. It's been a disaster for him. I've always said, and I said this yesterday, is that I can also put admonishment on all the previous administrations, all the way up to Bush Jr., or all the way to Clinton, excuse me, and the Congress with which they were under, that nobody looked into this in a way that they should have. But I think the fact that Donald Trump was the one, I wouldn't say campaigned on it, but he said it on a Fox News interview that he would release this stuff, and now he was doing everything in his power not to. We saw if you saw Pam Bondi's horrendous performance in front of Congress the other day, where she refused to answer any question and only deflect. I think it's disgusting how we are treating victims and survivors in this country. In way of ICE, I don't like the way that they are violating people's Fourth Amendment. I don't like having individual memos getting sent out that say administrative warrants are the same as judicial warrants when we know constitutionally they are not, and how this is all being done under wraps in the immediate defense of anything that they're doing, instead of saying, hey, maybe we fucked up and we need to tighten up.
Are you anti-ICE? Like, would you abolish it or reform it?
I would abolish it. I would abolish it in this form, because I feel the same way I do about it as I do the police system, which is that to try and reform it in this way doesn't do anything to the fact that the foundation of what it is rotten. But we need something like what ICE was meant to be formed as for safety of our country and way of people coming in here, because the ICE was formed after 9/11. So I don't have any issue with that. I have an issue with what it has become and the broad scope that they are allowed to do their dealings in.
I feel like I think there should be reform, but I don't think it's inherently an evil organization in itself. I just think that there's some mishandling, but ultimately, don't you think it comes down to the lawmakers and the executive office? They're ultimately just enforcers, right? They have to do what they're told.
Sure. So, and that's why I said that the scope with which ICE and the executive branch has within immigration is a fucking problem, and that's on all sides. Like the fact that the executive branch has such a large gray area of what they are allowed to do in regards to immigration because it is under their branch is an issue to me. Now, the way to combat that, yes, would be the legislative branch through Congress. But the problem with that is we have such a feckless Republican Congress right now that they are sitting on their hands and purposefully just letting the Trump administration and Kristi Noem and Tom Homan do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I just feel like for the Epstein files, I think that the Trump administration has done the most to release things, but it has disappointed me on how much is redacted and how they went from we're going to release that list and all that. We're going to release that list and do all this and that to kind of like they're hiding something.
Right. And so here's the thing. This administration has released the most we've ever seen, but I don't give him any sort of gold star for that or participation trophy for that when he had to be forced to, right? They had this bill set up to bring for a vote on the floor of Congress, and Mike Johnson refused to bring it up, so much so that Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna had to put forth a discharge petition and have it signed by 218 different Congress people in order to circumvent Mike Johnson to bring it up for a vote. He was forced to have to do this. He would have preferred not to. He even said that anybody who signs this discharge petition, they consider it a hostile act towards the president. I agree with you. He's hiding something. What they're hiding, I don't know. But the fact that they're not investigating this, they're not working on this, they have not spoken to any of the victims, survivors, is a problem.
Yeah, I got another question for you because I've called into a bunch of people. I've never seen your show. It's nice to meet you. So would you say you're a liberal, a Democrat, progressive, or you just be talking like as a centrist or conservative? What are you?
In way of my voter registration, I am registered as an independent. That's specifically for my state so that I can get both primary ballots and I can choose which one I would like to effectuate and vote on. But my ideology, I am a leftist. So I am farther left than the Democrats. I am farther left than the liberals because I don't agree with capitalism, but it is our system. So I'd like to see it reformed and regulated. But I am a leftist.
So you would be would you say you're farther left or around the same range as Zoran?
I'm probably about where Zoran is, probably. I know he classifies himself as a social democrat, but I think that's just because the names that we give things. But Yeah, probably around Zoran, maybe a little bit farther left, to be honest. But if Zoran still
Mm.
believes in capitalism, I'm probably farther left than he is.
Yeah, I think he told me he didn't like capitalism. He just
Yeah.
believes in socialism. But yeah, I feel like for me, and maybe some people agree here. I don't know how your channel is, but I think those issues, yes, they do bother me, but it's not like going to change me to say, okay, now I'm going to move all my ideology to the left and I'm going to go start believing in the Democrats or believing in the leftist ideology. I don't think there's anything that could sway me, but I do believe that we could acknowledge that there's two huge blunders on those things that are going to cost. I think y'all are going to win the midterms. Really, I
I
do.
think we're gonna sweep them really hard. Well, I would ask you what Republican what kind of Republican policies do you vote for that you think are doing something for you?
So like I would say the taxation. I do like the taxation. I'm not super friendly on like eat the rich and tax the rich. Yeah, I understand that they need to pay taxes, but
Mm-hmm.
they're just going to use a bunch of write-offs and avoid it anyways. I
No, but
think
that's
that
why
they
we
should
we
pay their
change
tax,
that in the
but
system. Change that within the tax system so that they can't.
I think some write-offs can be good and some can be bad. It just depends.
Sure, my issue is that
I'm
we
yeah.
cut their taxes so high and they don't inject our economy only works if money is constantly being circulated through it. And the problem is giving this much tax cuts to billionaires, they don't do that. They don't circulate that money, they just hoard it. We have seen that year after year after year. Supply side economics or trickle down economics does not work.
Yeah, so that's one thing. I mean, I do see that. I would say I'm fiscally conservative. Like, I think the way that they talk about money and talk about spending, I would be
They
more of a
spend more
fan of.
money than Democrats do every time. Every time they come into office,
I
the
th-
deficit balloons. They're the ones who raise the debt ceiling.
I think a lot of it is we don't allow you guys to spend as much money as you want, though. Like with the Green New Deal or
That didn't
Build Back Better
pass.
that didn't
But
pass.
it didn't pass.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying because we didn't let
Sure.
you.
No,
We didn't
sure,
allow it to
sure. It
pass.
got blocked, but that is not. But again, statistically, Republican Congress and Republican administrations spend more than Democratic ones do.
I'd have to look into it. I'm not saying I disbelieve you. I'm just saying
Sure.
that
No,
I
that's
feel
fair.
like we
That's
get our
totally fair.
yeah
You
we
don't
get
have
our
to believe
stuff
me.
we get our stuff probably more passed than y'all because I know y'all have ideas like universal health care or Green New Deal or
Sure.
Paris climate stuff like that. It would probably cost a lot more, but it doesn't get passed as likely. I don't think.
Well, universal healthcare specifically, actually in the long term, if we're following like Bernie Sanders' model, if you ever take the time and look up like Bernie Sanders' model of advocating for universal healthcare, it would actually cost us less in the long run. Initially, there might be an increase in your tax, but then it will level out and it will end up being cheaper because you are no longer paying from your check every 2 weeks or every week, however, every month, depending on how you get paid for healthcare through your job. You won't have to be reliant on that because it is already being paid for. So your cost will go down. You're not, it's what we advocate for really is like single payer healthcare is what it's called. It's basically you're not paying at point of purchase. So when you go, you're not doing copays. You're not worrying about things like that because you're already paying into
Yeah.
this system.
Yeah. I mean, I had thought it would be trillions and trillions of dollars that it would cost for such our high population, no? Or
Well, we pay, let's see. What does the US pay in healthcare a year now? I need to get that chart from RTP. He has an entire study list actually on this. Let's see, about $5.3 trillion in 2024, so about $15,474 a person is what we pay now. So we're paying $5 trillion a year now in our healthcare for shitty healthcare. We have worse outcomes than most of the other countries. Like my thing with universal healthcare is like if our system was so much better than universal healthcare, how come no other country is trying to follow what we're doing?
I can agree that the privatization of our healthcare hasn't been too fruitful because it ends up being like competing to not help somebody and save as much money as possible. I'm not a fan of that.
Well, because the thing is like what would you pay? What would what would be your line or your limit to pay for your loved one who's in the hospital? Like most people would say there is no limit to that. And the insurance companies know that. That's
Yeah, and then you end up owing hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical bill. I'm not a big fan of that, to be honest.
right. And so that's why the left and Democrats do advocate for things like universal health care. It's just been kind of taught to be this big scary thing that it doesn't have to be, right? But I would like to see it. But again, the point is that I haven't seen a lot of Republican policy that's beneficial to average U.S. Americans. Most of the time, what they're doing is lobbying for big corporations. I'm not saying Democrats don't. Don't get me wrong. There are definitely Democrats that do that shit, and take all sorts of PAC money and advocate and lobby for that. But I would say that mostly it's Republicans that do, and I don't see where their policies are helping Americans.
So, how do you feel? And I don't know, I could have read something wrong, that they say people like Canada that have the free health care,
Mhm.
it's a lot slower and a more gruesome process, and they'll end up spending extra money to get a quicker procedure in America.
So sometimes they will come here for certain procedures. That's not because of time. Most of the time it's because of specialty. We have really good medical schools in the US. That's one thing we do. We do have very good medical education in the US. And so we have a lot of specialty divisions, certain things. If it's your heart, if it's like, it's not general health, it's going to be specialty things that they do come here for, but it's not because of wait times. Now, granted, wait times are relatively long in Canada, but they're really not much longer than what we already have here. And what you're waiting for is you are waiting for specialty procedures. You're not waiting for general health. If you just need to go in that day, you can go in that day and get seen. So I think that that's kind of a myth that's been going around. And like healthcare has been slow. It is slow, but if we put the funding towards it, it doesn't have to be as slow as they make it sound.
Yeah, so that's just a few things that
Sure.
I've thought about. I'm not saying that you guys are crazy. Oh, like, oh, the Democrats, we need to get them the hell out of here. I do think that
Right, I get that.
it's a lot. I do think it's a lot of smoke and mirrors when it comes to the politician side. Like
I
they're
agree.
going and being extremely dramatic. I don't think that helps. I think the left and the right. I ain't gonna lie. It was kind of nice to see like Obama and Mitt Romney debate and not talk about golf or killing each other. Like I thought that
Right.
was kind of something that was nice. So,
Well, yeah,
and then I'm not.
but I
Yeah,
think that the problem with that is that we have stepped into a situation where there's always been a divide. There's always been a your side versus my side kind of a thing in politics. It's always been the way it is with two-party system, which again, as a leftist, I don't like. I would prefer to have ranked choice voting in this country so that we can get money out of politics and citizens united and make sure that the people's voice is being heard and not lobbyists with, billions of dollars. But that divide Donald Trump took a sledgehammer to that divide even before he became president the first time. When Obama was elected president of the United States, Donald Trump was the one who started the birther movement and saying, "Hey, show us your passport. Obama was born in Kenya," and that is like he took the divide that we already felt as Americans in our differences and our ideologies, and he spread it wide open. And so now we have a dirty floor that we're all playing on, and Democrats are feeding into that. I'm not a huge fan of them feeding into it because I would like to get some semblance of decorum again once Donald Trump has left this place of office or this earth, whichever one comes first. But we can't get there because we're playing dirty politics with a dirty man.
so I think what you call it. I see what you're saying. I thought that there was some good and some bad for when Trump came in. He kind of like kicked the doors and told everyone to pick their side. It made it more easy to identify who was what, but now it's kind of overplayed to the point where it's just scaring the crap out of a bunch of people now. Nobody is very comfortable in this environment. Hearing Democrats and Republicans going crazy,
Well,
I
yeah,
don't
because
think that that's helping.
the sides he made Republicans choose from, he's destroyed what the Republican Party was. My parents were Republicans. This is not the Republican Party that I was raised under. This is MAGA.
Yeah, I would agree.
He has blown up the Republican Party because although we might have disagreements on certain social issues, there was not outward harm necessarily trying to be done. Most Republicans, yeah, if you go into southern states, you can look at legislation and see what was being done. But what he did is he made it that you either are MAGA, you support me, regardless of what statistics and facts say, you must support me at all costs, which means that you are a hateful bigot, or you are a leftist domestic terrorist is what he thinks that I am. And those are the sides you have to choose now. You cannot be anywhere in the middle. You cannot see both sides. You cannot maybe like some of these Democratic policies and wish that he would do them. Like, you can't do any of that now.
Yeah, and I would have to attest that to him. I'm not going to be blind and say he didn't do that.
Sure.
So, yeah, that's kind of my thing. And it comes to, I do have like conservative values and Christian values, of course. That does not mean conservative does not mean, oh, if something's bad, we got to keep it and not fix it. I don't believe that. And I know you say you're progressive. That doesn't mean you're going to just keep changing stuff all the time. If something works, I know you want to keep it.
Sure.
But that's just kind of how I was raised and what I believe. And I do think that there are, like, we have to get out of a hive mindset. Like, there's things that the right's do and I'm not a fan of. And I appreciate that you could point out that there's things Democrats are doing you're not a fan of. So I'm going to go ahead and leave you to it. It's real nice to meet you. If I ever get on the channel, I might call in again.
Yeah, please do. You're welcome.
You have a
anytime.
great day.
I appreciate the civil conversation. Have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah. You too.
See, you get MAGA. You know what I get? I get racist white women yelling at me.
That's always fun too. Hey, I get called a whore quite a bit. That's their I should get a word count for that one. They like that one.
Guys, it's almost 11 Mountain Time and it's almost 12 here. Can you guys keep booping that screen? I want us to get to 50K by the end of it.
Please. I know you guys can do it. I believe in you. I saw you do it yesterday. I know you can. 183 people in here. I know that you can do it. Okay, where were we? That was we were talking about Trump's tariffs. I did want to show, what was this? Oh, this was how.
Can you stop eating hangers?
Again, this was Trump's first term, so this was 2018, but this was how manufacturing jobs went after the tariffs, right? So we get somewhere around here in July of 2018, and they just start kind of like, they don't know what to do with themselves because his tariffs destroy the manufacturing industry. Now, I'll bring it up for you. We've seen that here after Liberation Day. Not bad, Gateway. Open the dang thing.
What about Gateway?
It said bad Gateway. I got an error message. What do you mean?
No!
Come on, Wi-Fi. You can do it. I believe in you.
Mine's been freaking the fuck out. That's why I moved upstairs.
It said, no, you will not show the manufacturing jobs going down.
Confirmed your internet provider is a Trump supporter.
God, probably. All right. So here we go. We hit April, which was those liberation tariffs, and it just, shoo, we had a little bump up because he plays Taco. And we played Taco again. So we're starting to go back up slowly. The tariffs are not a good thing in the way he's using them. And I say this all the time. Targeted tariffs can be good for our economy. Targeted tariffs can work. But the way in which that he does tariffs doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Is it Dejan? I apologize if I said the name wrong. W to you for the $2 super chat. Love from Nigeria. Sending you love as well. Thank you so much for the support over there on the tubes of you guys. Remember, I am multi-streaming. Thank you, James, for the jewels as well over there on the tubes. If you are not subscribed over there, please feel free to subscribe. There's also memberships. And as you saw, super chats and gifts that you can give over there. I'm also on Twitch. You can follow, subscribe. There are bits that you can do over there as well. I would appreciate it if you're not over there following, subscribing, that you would do so. Thank you guys so much. Let's see this person. And then I can open the line back up, but. No. Okay, you took too long. All right. Thank you for calling the stream. Age, state, who'd you vote for?
Trump.
Age and state, please.
35, Texas.
All right. Why are you still supporting Trump?
I support Trump based on, I think, a need to reform various policies, whether that be immigration, whether that be lobbying, whether that be police reform, a lot of things. I don't think that Republicans are doing that right now, but I think that reform is a la mode right now, whether or not people admit it.
Well, okay, so you said they're not doing it, because then I would ask you, like, why haven't they, since they had I mean, they had it more so a few months ago than they do now, but they had the majority in Congress. Why didn't they pass any long form reform for legislation?
Well, I wasn't there.
No, but like, are
I
you?
mean,
But like they.
if I was in that room, I would be speaking up for myself.
Sure, that's fair. So then, you're not happy with what Congress has been doing right now?
Oh, for sure. But I think my complaint is way more with Republicans than the Republican Party.
Voters?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. So the guy before, we both voted for the same guy,
Sure.
and one of his first questions was, "Are you a Democrat or a Republican?" And if he asked me that question, I would ask him to say, "Well, is it a midterm or is it a presidential election?"
Right.
So
I can agree with you on that. When people ask that, I have a lot of people come up and they'll be like, "Well, I'm an independent." I'm like, "That doesn't mean anything to me. That's your voter registration. What does that mean for your ideology?" I can understand that.
And even more so, I don't think that we should have, like, the federal government and state governments don't have the same problems. Like, even Texas does not have the exact same problem as the federal government. So the concept that I would be party line voting in both elections, I think, for one, is an oversimplification. And then that oversimplification is quite literally demoralizing to humanity as a concept, where it's like, I'm not allowed to intellectually navigate a voter ballot. Like that.
I
that's
agree. Yeah, you should be able to vote.
absurd.
If you have, if you have somebody whose policies you agree with, and they just happen to be a Democrat, that shouldn't, negate your identity for your politics. I can agree with that.
Yeah, and it's just I don't understand why it's like where like what state should you vote for the same party for both the national election and for a state election? Like, I don't understand like what any like at all like in any like there's completely different problems. That's exactly actually it makes more sense. You kind of think about the way that the republic was designed, was that there was supposed to be certain problems for the federal government and certain problems for the state government. They quite literally they should not interfere if the design is correct, and it's implemented in the way that it was designed. Is that you shouldn't be voting the same way on both ballots, because there's different problems that states take care of versus the federal government. So it's kind of absurd that a Republican shouldn't vote Democrat in the state election. I think that makes sense. Like, I think that in my state, I'm going to be voting for a Democrat in the midterms because I want police reform. But then I'm going to vote Republican in the national election because I want immigration reform. There's two separate issues there. The states handle the police. The federal government handles tax collection and handles borders and handles geopolitics and all these things. So it's I don't think that I should be voting for Republican in the state election at all. And I wonder why particularly at least Texas Republicans are voting for a Republican in the state, when, I mean, obviously they've just made a mess of everything within the last 2 to 3 years, as far as like, a lot of these, we'll say the THCA fiasco was kind of mishandled. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of businesses.
I agree with you. I think the issue is that with the two-party system set up the way that it is, because Democrats do this too. There's no reason to say that it's not. They definitely do. Is that you fall into this mindset of, well, I have to vote along party lines regardless. And sometimes, I will say sometimes that's true for harm reduction. But I agree with you. You should definitely be looking at that with nuance in regards to what you are voting for federally and what you are voting for locally. I absolutely fucking agree with that. It's why I would like to see ranked choice voting in here instead of, oh gosh, they have an R next to the name, or oh god, they have a D next to the name. We have to vote for them, and especially because they got the most funding in their campaign. Like, that's just fucking silly to me. I think we really have to change voters' mindsets on how they look into their candidates and actually look into them instead of just seeing what their fucking voter registration affiliation is. I think that that's just silly.
Yeah, and that voter registration means nothing in the actual election.
Yeah.
The primaries are not even like necessarily, like, those are independent associations which have been deemed governing bodies over this necessary election to be able to have a national election. But the second that the primaries are over and we've selected our candidates, it doesn't matter who you are. It literally is of zero importance unless you think that you have like some somebody's like watching you and they're going to say, oh, you didn't vote. You didn't vote along the lines of your party. Like, there's literally nothing to be afraid of.
I mean,
when it comes to voting
Donald
in the
Trump
next
has
election.
kind of changed that. Even Democrats in the party do that, where you will get primaried if you go against. Like, Trump is really, really big on this, is that you speak against him in any way, shape, or form. Like, you have Rand Paul and Thomas Massie, who I don't agree with on their social issues, but they're more libertarian than they are Republican, right? They're conservative, but they're libertarian. And they speak out against Trump, and Trump just absolutely, tries to punish them. I'm going to fund your primary because you didn't side with me. And I think that is a problem, where you shouldn't be falling to one person, one politician. That's not something that we should be doing.
Yeah, I still understand the purpose of asking somebody if they're a Democrat. Like,
yeah,
it makes no sense, and it's like, I think it's just hurting Americans alone, because you're oversimplifying what it means to be a person. Like,
because then they put you in a box. Like, oh, I'm a Democrat. I'm not a Democrat, but I'm a Democrat, so I believe this, this, and this, and you don't have any nuance to my position on, let's say, immigration or things like that. You just assume, and that can be similar with Republicans as well.
I don't go to the RNC for my groceries or my gas.
Right.
I go to the same American station with the Democrats as everyone else.
Yep.
So it makes no sense that I should navigate both elections as a Republican, but then be expected to navigate America as an American. Like, it kind of confuses me. So it's kind of like the problem that I have really is not necessarily with any candidate, but Republicans who are completely separated from city politics.
Yeah.
It's there's a lot going on in City Hall that people have zero, and we're not talking about it either. I think that's your fault too. I
agree. I agree with that.
Yeah, I think that you need to talk about city politics.
So my plan is I meant to start it this last Monday. I actually did not get a chance to, and this is not to give myself any accolades. I don't give a fuck. Everybody should be doing this. Is that I'm going to start doing on Mondays, which I usually don't go live on. But on Mondays, I'm going to start doing midterm Mondays, not just congressionally, but if anybody has questions, this is not going to be like a opposition live. It would just be for anybody on any side who has questions. Maybe they don't know who their candidates are. Let's go through that. Let's go through locally what you've got going on, what ballot measures, when your primaries are, because most people don't know that. Who's your state House rep? Who's your state Senate rep? Like, let's go through all that information. That is something that I do want to do on Mondays, so that people have that information, because they should.
Yeah, because we're gonna get the most power for individuals from city politics. There's no such thing as like an individual mandate federally. Like, that doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Yeah. People don't get power. People don't get the right to bear arms. They don't get injunctions federally or in a party sense, right? Mm-hmm. All that stuff is happening at the city level. So that's what I want to see from my party. That's what I want to see from people like you talk about city politics, because honestly, the federal government is like, it's not going to change.
We can only try. I think with the federal government is harm reduction, and unless we get Citizens United ended, I think the federal government's kind of going to sit where it is. So yeah, no, I would agree with you. We have to do grassroots, bottom up for sure. But I appreciate the conversation, and I think I'm going to move on. But I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Look at that, 2 back-to-back.
2 back-to-back.
MAGA, where you at?
Okay, we were still talking tariffs. So, this is going to be, I have the source for it. I know you guys get upsetty spaghetti when you see CNN. Oh, no, it's not Harry Enton. I do have Harry Enton for later if we need him. But this is not Harry Enton. But what he's going to cite, I have the actual citation for, in way of how much you guys, an average household paid for tariffs last year.
Top of this, there's also all these costs related to tariffs. The president has argued that other countries are going to pay the brunt of the tariffs, but recent research finds the exact opposite. This is from the Tax Foundation. They found that the cost of the president's tariffs per household was $1,000 last year, and they're seeing an increase this year to $1,300. Again, that's per household. And Brianna, the president argues that his tariffs are going to cause a manufacturing jobs boom, but that has not happened, at least not yet.
So where is that? We're looking to see it. Let me turn the phone lines back on. Guys, it is 11:09 Mountain Time here. We are only at 36,000 likes. Why do you guys hate me? Why don't you guys like me anymore? You can't tap the screen for me while we're sitting here? I know you guys want the eat them up conversations, and I've had good conversations, but I think you guys can still do the job. I love you. Please keep tapping. Tap till your fingers hurt. Do it. Thank you for calling the stream. Age, state, and who did you vote for?
I don't vote for anybody.
Oh, you didn't vote at all in the 2024 presidential election?
No, I don't believe in voting.
Why not?
I believe it serves no purpose.
It absolutely serves a purpose, especially locally. That's going to affect you. Like politics affects your life every single day.
I don't believe it does. I believe actions affect your life every single day.
Sure, the actions of the politicians that you don't vote for do affect your life every single day. You should take charge of that and use the voice that's given to you. I promise you that your vote matters, because if it didn't, they wouldn't be trying so hard to take it away. Make sure you look up your candidates and vote in the midterms. I don't know why you called me 6 or 7 times for that.
Look at that.
Voting is an action. You didn't take one. Look at that pretty kitty. Bye, babe.
It's the one whiskey wants to like attack.
Yeah, well, besides that part.
I know. Good boy.
Thank you for calling the stream. Age, state, who'd you vote for?
I voted for Trump.
Okay, can I get your age and state, please?
46 in Illinois. Illinois.
Why are you still supporting Trump?
You know, I'm going to say this, and listen, in my view, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and I'll explain that so it makes sense. I was very, very much I guess you would say a moderate. I still consider myself a moderate. I was really disenfranchised when I came back, and I found through education and just really getting involved in the sphere that is politics that I've always been against the rich sucking up all of the money and all the red tape that kind of screws the little guy. I kind of grew up blue collar and family that had small business, and just seeing it, and learn through the years how hard it is for a small business to really get going and how much politics played into that. And I was really sold on the left. I was really there. And it was during the Obama administration that I really took a deep dive and seen that billionaires gained more wealth during that sect of that 8 years than all other presidencies combined. And when I really took a deep dive into that, it pissed me off, and it made me disenfranchised with the left. And honestly, I'm voting from the hip to screw the left. And I can't lie to you. I mean, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Right. So you're doing it to own the libs, but how does this help the average American who isn't part of the Democratic Party?
Well, here's the deal. I feel like, and you could probably own me on this, but I feel like I was completely lied to. I got sold a bill of goods that this was the Democrats were for the working class, for the blue collar families, and I watched billionaires get more money in 8 years under Obama than they had in all previous administrations combined.
I would agree with you that the Democratic Party claimed to be the party of the working class, and they have moved away from that, and they need to find that message again. I would say they're still the party of unions. We've seen that in way of how Republican policy affects unionizing. But I would agree that they need to change their messaging. I just don't understand how you would take that and then decide to purposefully vote for people you know are harmful to the American people.
Well, because I watched what the left did and how harmful they were to the American people. It's in my opinion, a double-edged sword. So the enemy of my enemy. And people say that I'm dumb for doing that, but that's just why.
I think it means that you have privilege that you will live through whatever harm the rest of marginalized communities have to fucking put up with, and the mess with which we will have to fucking clean up when this man is no longer here.
I have privilege.
Yeah, the privilege.
Explain that to me.
The privilege that politics might not affect you as much as it affects a marginalized community.
I'm marginalized.
In what way?
I'm a small business owner. I am biracial. I am
okay. Biracial with what?
Okay.
Biracial with what?
I'm African American and white.
Okay. So you are part of the marginalized community. So why would you purposely vote for a party that's going to harm you? I'm not saying that the Democrats didn't lie about the things they did. That's
because
true.
the left has harmed my one side of my family way more than the right ever has. I believe that the right doesn't give a shit about black people, and I think it's only because they look at it in a voter base. They know. This is my hypothesis. The left will go on doing nothing for blacks, while the right will go on doing because they got their votes. Hook, line, and sinker. The right will do nothing for the left or for the blacks because they'll never vote for them.
No, but the difference,
I think it's that simple.
I always say this. I think that the Democrats are the party of apathy, but I would rather have apathy than harm. The Trump administration is purposefully rolling back civil rights progress that has happened in this country, purposefully rolling back what he calls DEI and affirmative action in this country, purposefully getting rid of the history of what actually happened in this country in regards to things like slavery and civil rights. I don't understand why we would vote for, just because we're mad at the apathy of the left, to then vote for the purposeful harm on the right.
Because I went down the rabbit hole during the civil rights era. I've seen how policies locally in my state have hurt minorities, and it's all left leaning. And I think that we have the same things going on both sides of the aisle.
So give me an example of a local policy that you had from the left that was hurting the marginalized community.
Well, in Illinois in particular, we have sectored out things in collective bargaining when you're doing a bidding process with the state of Illinois. And for anything, let's just say I'm a plumber, I'm Joe Plumber, and I want to get the contract with the state of Illinois to work on their buildings that state workers work in. So that was a thing where they would give certain points to minorities. They would give preferential or points added for veterans, which I'm totally okay with. And then that changed. Now being a woman business owner gives you more points than being a minority. And most of these and this is verifiable, are white women who are business owners.
Sure, I would
they're
say
they're getting preferential treatment over minorities. So
right, even affirmative action in DEI though helped mostly white women than it did other minorities. I can agree with you on that, but again, why would you take that? That is a program that you can then take and expand it to make sure it is more inclusive. Bitch, I would agree with you. Complain about it not being as inclusive as it was promised to be, and work towards expanding it and reforming it and making it better. Don't vote for the party that's going to completely get rid of it.
And that's a great conversation, and I would love to carry this on. I'm unfortunately getting an emergency call from work, but I just found you, and I'm going to get back with you.
Absolutely.
We're going to talk
anytime.
again.
I hope everything's okay at work. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Number one, my biggest irritant is when people pronounce Illinois incorrectly.
He lives there. I guess he can pronounce it.
I know, and it's like, dude, you know better. When that argument is so disingenuous. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Voting for someone who we know in the policies he wanted to push through. Anyone who voted for that, in a sense, and voted based on the fact that you are a business owner is...
Yeah, but again, I think that's where I don't want to say got him. That's not the word I want to use, because it's not a gotcha. This was a real conversation. I understand that there are policies. We all understand that. We talk about it all the time. Affirmative action and things like DEIA were meant to help all marginalized communities, and it majorly helps people that look like me and you. And we understand that. But the problem is that what you voted for was for them to completely take a sledgehammer to it instead of reforming it and expanding it and making it better. Pentadex, thank you so much for the jewels on the tubes of you. I appreciate it. Guys, we hit that 50,000 likes. It is 11:20, so you have 40 minutes. 40 minutes to hit that 100,000 like mark. I know you guys can do it. I believe in you. I would like to try and finish these last few sections about the economy, and then we can move on. Really, mostly just what Bessant said today in regards to what the economy is going to be. Now, I remember, I need to find the clips. I couldn't find them this morning for some reason, that Scott Bessant was saying that he is going to be able to, or we're going to start to see economic growth in Q3, Q4 of last year. That didn't happen. So now he started saying we're going to see it in Q1, Q2 of this year. Maybe he still believes that. I don't know. This is how he described what 2025 was versus what 2026 is going to be.
I think, as I've said many times, 2025 is about setting the table. 2026 is going to be a banquet for the American people. The economy is taking off. We saw 40,000 new construction jobs. Everyone says to me, oh, where are these factory jobs that you planned? And unlike what you and I see in the financial markets, you can't push a button and build a factory. There's lead time, but what we are seeing is big commitments to these factories that are going to be built. First, we'll get the construction jobs, and then the factory jobs are going to come. So I think we're going to see the tremendous groundbreakings. I think we're going to see a lot of factory completions this year.
If you see factory completions this year, it's because of things that Joe Biden did with the infrastructure bill.
That part.
Not because of anything.
Stop biting me.
Let's see. This was in June of 2025. This is just, again, further proof that he lies. So when we talk about the administration lying, this is what we mean. This was in June of 2025 in regards to being asked about the GDP and job growth even then, because they were then saying, like, it's fantastic, it's doing great, best in history. But that wasn't the case. So they just like to lie to you.
Markets have reacted positively is when the administration is in retreat from key policy areas. I want to say, given your successful past, isn't this embarrassing?
Is there a question there, sir?
There's a question. Isn't this embarrassing?
Oh, is it embarrassing? Well, I'm sorry, Congressman, but you seem not to have seen the economic data. The GDP growth has been quite substantial. Job growth is solid.
GDP growth is half what it was last year, sir.
The job growth is solid, and we had
job growth is a third what it was all last year, sir.
No. And private sector job growth especially. And if you'd like to talk about inflation, would you?
The inflation has been coming down. Just the inflation is good so far. We will see every economic thing I read, which is much every day, suggests the impact of the tariffs is not hit yet.
Well, why don't we look at the data rather than the hysteria, which is how I made my career.
The data, which he just, besides inflation, lied about. Job growth was a third of what it was the year before, which would have been 2024, and GDP growth was half of what it was the year before. Okay, two more things on the economy, and then I really do want to move to a couple things in way of there is a nominee for the State Department that they have put forth. Who's a fucking white nationalist. So we'll get into that after these two videos. I have this one where Bessant admits that if Donald Trump gets his settlement of $10 billion that he is suing the IRS for his tax returns being leaked, that the U.S. taxpayer pays that. What I will say is that, yes, his taxes were leaked. That's a fucking problem. Go after, which I think they did, go after the person who leaked them. I have no problem with that. Did he promise he was going to give us his tax returns and didn't? Yes, that did happen. He said, I'll release my tax returns, and he didn't. He's a fucking liar. Shocker. Donald Trump's a liar. However, that does not mean that he was allowed to have his tax returns leaked. I don't agree with that. That is a violation of privacy for any U.S. citizen. I don't think that's okay. Go after them. But why is he suing us? Now here, Bessant's going to admit that we're the ones who pay it.
So you are fully aware that the president is suing your agency for $10 billion.
Yeah.
We would agree. Would you agree that $10 billion is a good sum of money?
Yes, sir.
Where would that be cut from? Let's say for some reason he actually wins that lawsuit. Where would that $10 billion come from?
Again, it would come from
Process-wise, I'm not asking like your opinion whether it's right or wrong.
It would come from Treasury,
It comes from Treasury, which comes from the general fund,
the Treasury general account.
so taxpayers.
Yes.
Yes. Taxpayers. We would be paying that. And then I know there's a couple people trying to call in. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to play this last one, which is, we talked about how Donald Trump wants to raise those home prices. I think that would be effective of the market. Let's see. How's home sales going?
Comment on this, please. This morning we had a read on existing home sales in January, down 8.4%, only 3.9 million houses being sold per year. What does that tell you, Pierre? That was a very dull and slowing housing market report. Comment on this, please. This morning we had
8.4% down. Home sales. Home sales are down over the year, 8.4%. Thank you, Rob. Yes, also, in way of the last statement of tax returns being released, leaked, let's see. The revelation stems from a data sharing agreement signed last April by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessant and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, which allows U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement to submit names and addresses of immigrants inside the U.S. illegally to the IRS for cross-verification against tax records. So they were leaking our own records. Also, the tax agency, the IRS, improperly disclosed confidential immigrant tax data to DHS. So the government's leaking our tax data too. That's fun. That's always fun. Love when they do that, right? But again, I don't think it should be happening to anybody. Your tax information is your tax information. Oh, it's one person calling over and over again. You want to try? There you go. Jesus Christ. You obviously saw I was showing videos. Chill. Thank you for calling the stream. Age, state, who'd you vote for?
I voted for Trump.
Okay, can I get your age and state?
Today I'm 55 and I'm in California.
Okay. Why are you still supporting Trump?
No, well, first of all, I'd like to know your position, first of all.
Oh, no, that's not
I
how
don't know
this
your
show
position.
works. The show works that I ask the question, so why are you still supporting Trump?
I still support Trump because he does what he says.
Like what? Name one thing, we can talk about it.
He's immigration, the economy.
What did he do with immigration?
He unleashed ICE.
Unleashed them in what way?
Yeah. Exactly what they're doing. They're enforcing immigration laws.
What is the title that our immigration law is under?
I'm sorry, say again?
What is the title that our immigration law is under?
The title that our immigration laws are under?
Yeah.
Let me go to my computer because I don't know the exact laws.
So how would you know if they're enforcing the laws if you don't know the laws?
Because if you do comparisons, they're doing the same thing that Obama did, and they're doing the same thing that
With
Clinton did.
expedited removal, yes, which I have an issue with.
Expedited removal, yes.
But what I have an issue with is their violations of the Fourth Amendment.
Name one violation of a Fourth Amendment in one case.
So the man that they took from Minnesota, let's go find him.
The Maryland man or the Minnesota man?
The man that they took out of his home in Minnesota with an administrative warrant, which does not give them the right to enter their home. You have to have a judicial warrant signed by a judge to enter somebody's home.
Was that the man that they were looking for?
No.
Was the man that they were looking for addressed there?
No. He was already in jail.
No?
No, he was already in
He
jail.
was already in jail.
Correct.
Okay. So let's jump over to something else. You asked me why I supported Trump, or
No,
actually,
so
you
are
ask
fine
me.
you are fine with ICE violating the Constitution then?
No, that's fine, but I want to jump over to something else. I
That's
want to give
fine.
you
No.
a
I know you
slight
want.
history.
I know that you want to pivot. I know you want to pivot really bad, but what we're not going to do is we're not going to do that until you either say that you are for the fact that ICE is violating the Constitution or you are against it, and you're going to speak out against
Well, you have
them
to give me
violating
an example of them violating the Constitution.
I just did.
And what is the outcome of that violation?
They've sent memos trying to now convince everybody that administrative warrants allow you to enter
Who is
people's
they?
homes when they don't.
Who is they?
ICE. Kristi Noem, Todd Lyons, the acting director of ICE, people within ICE, Tom Homan, and themselves as well.
Okay,
Trying
so
to say that that's
judicially,
okay.
what is the outcome of that?
They'll probably sue. There have been multiple, we've had a lot of court cases going on where they have been found that they've been violating the habeas Fifth Amendment due process rights of immigrants. There's been a lot of judges ruling on that. We just had one.
Well. You have to.
We just had Judge Boasberg
Well,
have a ruling.
let's be accurate.
We just
Can
had
we be
Judge
accurate?
Yeah, I'm going to be accurate. We just
Let's
had
be
Judge
accurate.
Boasberg.
Let's not
We
say.
just had
Let's not conflate immigrants with illegal immigrants.
You don't know what makes them illegal. You don't know the law.
I don't know the law, but you just said immigrants. Immigrants would be what?
Immigrants could be a colloquialism of an all-encompassing of undocumented and documented immigrants.
But illegal would be undocumented, right?
They would be undocumented, yeah. They also
So why
still
would
have
you
rights.
conflate legal? Why would you
Because it
conflate
doesn't matter.
a legal
I'm not
immigrant
conflating. It
with an
doesn't matter.
illegal?
Per the
It
Constitution.
doesn't. Why doesn't it matter?
According to
Explain
SCOTUS,
to me why it doesn't matter.
According to SCOTUS, it does not matter. They are afforded the same due process rights as any U.S. citizen is.
Are they really? As far as according to fast track?
In way of expedited removal, if it depends on how that's sued up. Most of the time that comes through and is not seen as a violation of rights for anybody. It is the way in which if they are not granted that appeal to be seen in front of a judge, that violates their Fifth Amendment right.
So you're saying that the way that Clinton did it is different than the way that Trump is doing it, as far as seeing a judge.
I would say in some cases, yes. Yeah, in
No,
some
no.
cases they're the same. In some cases they're not.
Now
This
name
is not
a
all or
case in
nothing.
which it's different. Give me a specific case in which it's different.
Cool. So Judge Boasberg just had a fucking ruling on the fact that people who were sent, Venezuelans who were sent to foreign countries that were not back home to Venezuela, had their rights violated under the Alien and Enemies Act that they were used to be deported with, and they needed to be returned immediately, so much so that they can file their
Returned
habeas
where?
petitions back here.
Returned home or returned to the United States?
Back to the United States, be returned back to the United States to go
Is
through
that
their due
the-
process.
is that-
To go through their due process, even so to the point that they can file their habeas petitions in another country to do so.
Is that where they're from, or
No,
is that where
they're Venezuelan. That's where they
they're
were here.
Venezuelans, but they
Sure.
can't be sent back to Venezuela?
They were not sent to Venezuela. They were sent to third countries.
Why weren't they sent to Venezuela?
Why weren't they? I don't know. Maybe Venezuela said they
Yeah.
wouldn't take them back. Sometimes that
No,
happens.
not maybe. Where you wanted me to be specific, you be specific. Why weren't they sent to Venezuela?
I don't think the government has given us that answer. But that is
What
why
government?
this government, this administration, I don't think this administration has given us that
Well,
answer why they
Judge
were sent
Boasman,
to third.
Judge Boasman had very specific
Boasberg.
reasons why they couldn't. Boasberg couldn't be specifically sent back to Venezuela. What were those reasons?
Let's look up the case. Let me go find it.
Yeah, you got a computer.
Yeah, I do. So do you, and you still haven't looked up the title that immigration law is
Well,
under. Did
I'm
you
in
go
my
find that?
garage right now.
Okay, yeah, you go find that though while you're sitting here while I look for this. Let me get the case.
Judge Boasman.
No, you're supposed to be looking up the title that our immigration law is under. That's what you're supposed to be finding.
It's different variants for protections for
I really want to get
deportations.
through the reason why.
Let me
switched
see if I
from
can find it
Democrat
for
to
you. Hold on.
Republican.
I'm trying to find it from
But-
a court listener I had it the other day.
But you're in Spokane, Washington, right?
This phone number is, yeah. I'm not.
And you don't want to tell me your stance or your positions or anything like that.
My position is that I think that we need to have reform within the immigration system, and I don't agree with how this is being done.
Reform meaning abolishing, or
Abolishing
what do you
what?
mean? What do you mean? What do you mean reform? Do you mean
in
reform as
immigration.
in?
I think we need reform in immigration. I think we need to have let me see, that's the one. We need to have reform in immigration in way of having pathways to citizenship and funding immigration judges so that the process isn't taking as long as it is.
So how do you do that?
You fund it through Congress, which this administration isn't doing. They're firing immigration judges.
So on the other side of that, what should the people seeking
I found it.
seeking citizenship, what should their part be? Should they just
Gotcha.
get here and then ask for it, or should they ask for it and then receive it and then come?
It depends because there are multiple different ways to have status in this country. You can asylum.
Are you
cases,
for
can just come here.
blanket amnesty?
I would have to put yes, but they would have to be limitations
Wow.
on it to people who have been here. Probably for me personally, again, this would just be my opinion and my feelings, is that people who have been here for longer than 10 or 15 years without a criminal record, I have no problem giving amnesty to. They are working hard for this country and putting forth tax money into this
Okay,
country. So,
okay.
yeah.
But initially, how did they get here? Do we just overlook the fact that they just got here illegally?
I don't really
Is there?
care about the invisible line that you guys have, and also asylum
I,
seekers are allowed to
I
do
know
that.
that
So
I know that you don't care about it,
I
but
don't.
should we just overlook
You're
the
asking
fact?
me about my feelings. I said I don't care. Yeah. So yeah, we should. That's my feelings. That's not the law. But again, asylum, you
Would
are
you?
allowed to cross whether or not at a port of arrival in the United States and claim asylum. But anyway, here's this memorandum opinion in order on
We'll
December
hand wave dismiss
22nd,
that.
on December 22nd, 2025, this court issued a memorandum opinion finding that the government had denied due process to a class of Venezuelans it deported to El Salvador last March in defiance of this court's order. CJGG v. Trump, that's the court, the original court order. The court offered the government the opportunity to propose steps that would facilitate hearings for the class members on their habeas corpus claims so that they could challenge their designation under the Alien Enemies Act and the validity of the president's proclamation. Apparently
So
not
you think
interested.
every?
Apparently not interested in participating in this process. The government's responses essentially told the court to pound sand, believing that other courses would be both more productive and in line with Supreme Court's requirements outlined in Nome v. Abrego Garcia. The court will now order the government to
Abrego
facilitate.
Garcia, the Maryland man.
The court will now order the government to facilitate the return from third countries of those plaintiffs who so desire. It will also permit other plaintiffs to file their habeas supplements from abroad.
So all of this, who's paying for all this?
We are.
All these hearings.
We
Taxpayers,
are.
right?
Yeah.
Taxpayers.
Uh-huh.
So you're willing to for every single case to go before a judge and be heard out in the long due process of an American citizen. You will want them to go through. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're willing to do that.
That's the Constitution. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the American Constitution
The
for
U.S.
every person.
Yep.
So you're willing to do that. So
Yep.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say you're probably more leaning towards democratic socialism.
Sure. I'm farther left than that probably, but sure.
You're further left than that. You're going towards what, communist?
Yeah, but I just know that it won't work unless it's global.
Where has that ever worked? And don't list in homogenous. Don't list Denmark. Don't list.
They're not communists. We don't have communist countries because communism
No,
doesn't have a country.
no,
But that
I'm
is also
asking you.
another.
When has
another
communism
pivot.
ever worked?
That's also without. We haven't with indigenous
Oh,
communities.
they just haven't done it the right way, right?
No, with indigenous communities, on Turtle Island.
Indigenous. Name one indigenous.
Before capitalism came over and colonized and caused a problem. Again, this is why I don't talk about the fact that I do believe in communism, because I know realistically I'm a very logical person.
I knew
that
it.
It will not work, because it does not work unless the entire world decides they are going to be. And the entire world is never going to decide they are going to be. But Scotty W. for the Swan, we're done with you. SCOTUS ruling on immigrants having constitutional rights. You guys, basically he said he doesn't like the Constitution. That's it, that's all. He just doesn't like the Constitution. This idea, that would be silly. That's like saying, okay, well, people who are accused of shoplifting, people who are accused of murder, people accused of any crime, okay, do not get to have a court date or a trial in front of a judge because, oh no, due process takes so long and we, the American taxpayer, pay for it. Yeah.
I don't think he also knew the Constitution either.
Oh, and of course I get that right afterwards. Jillian, thank you so much for the 10 on the Blue app in place of a swab. Hold on to that. You can keep that as a kick. I'll write it down. Unless you want me to send it back, and I can absolutely send it back to you. If not, I can hold it for you as a kick, but I forgot to play that.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
Like, everybody gets due process. That's just the fucking way it works. Let's see. In regards to this aliens in the United States. In 1903, the court in the Japanese immigrant case reviewed the legality of deporting an alien who had lawfully entered the United States, clarifying that an alien who has entered the country and has become subject in all respects to its jurisdiction and a part of its population could not be deported without an opportunity to be heard upon the questions involving his right to be and remain in the United States. In the decades that followed, the Supreme Court maintained the notion that once an alien lawfully enters and resides in this country, he becomes invested with the rights guaranteed by the Constitution to all people within our borders. Eventually, the Supreme Court extended these constitutional protections to all aliens within the United States, including those who entered unlawfully, declaring that aliens who have once passed through our gates, even illegally, may be expelled only after proceedings conforming to traditional standards of fairness encompassed in due process of law. The court reasoned that aliens physically present in the United States, regardless of their legal status, are recognized as persons, guaranteed due process of law by the 5th and 14th Amendments. Thus, the court determined even one whose presence in this country is unlawful, involuntary, or transitory is entitled to that constitutional protection. Accordingly, notwithstanding Congress's indisputably broad power to regulate immigration, fundamental due process requirements notably constrained the power with respect to aliens within the territorial jurisdiction of the United States. Now, yet, the Supreme Court has also suggested that the extent of due process protection may vary depending upon the alien status and circumstance. In various opinions, the court has suggested that at least some of the constitutional protections to which an alien is entitled may turn upon whether the alien has been admitted into the United States or developed substantial ties to this country. Thus, while the court has recognized that due process considerations may constrain the federal government's exercise of its immigration power, there is some uncertainty regarding the extent to which these constraints apply with regard to aliens within the United States. And that's fine, because that would be what a judge decides, or a panel of judges decide within the circuit court on a case-by-case basis. I didn't write this. I didn't make it up. Congratulations, this is the Constitution. And this is how SCOTUS has ruled on its interpretation of the Constitution. This is not a right or left issue. This is just the law. I'm so sorry you guys don't like that. That one over here, so I need to save that for later too. Okay. 11:40. We have 20 minutes left, guys, and we are at 62,000 likes with 187 people here on the Tickety Talk. If you guys could tap that screen to try to get to 100,000 likes before I end here today, that's fine. I will see if I want to stay on a little bit longer to show you a couple videos. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. Because there were things in the outline I did want to get through, but these people just won't stop calling, so... Except for you. Don't call again. We're done talking. Okay. Let's go back to this. We did the home sales. Real quick, I did want to do...
My Target stuff came in.
Yay! I did want to show this, though.
1 year in among independents.
We're going to talk about polling and a couple polling things. So we've got our Harry Enton. I did say we might have him. Yeah, Progress Possum. I see you over there in the Twitch chat. What? You're willing to follow the law of the land? Say it ain't so. Ouch. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Somebody even in the tube chat said, how is she anti-American? I literally just cited you what SCOTUS said it within the law. I think that's the most American that I can be, is to speak for and advocate for the Constitution, for our document, the Constitution. All right, Harry Enton, you guys ready for some football things? Let's talk about the Senate. So we know that historically, if you have a, let's say like when Obama came into office, right, and he had control of Congress in his first 2 years, that it flips. Historically, it flips in the midterms. Just historically. That's just the way it is. So most people are predicting that it's going to flip, and it's going to flip hard in the House. The Senate has always been harder. Always has been. Doesn't usually change that much. A couple seats here and there, but not anything in way of a majority. But Harry Enton's going to talk about, is the Senate safe?
Oh my goodness gracious. Trump's economic net approval 1 year in among independents. In term
Jesus, he
one,
went straight
he was
into
10
it.
points above water. Look at where he is today. Whoa, 43 points below water. That's a 53-point switcheroo. You can't win elections when on the number one issue you are 43 points below water among independents. This is just absolutely atrocious.
That's just a huge swing. All right, so what impact might that have on the midterms? People were looking at the Senate as being safe for Republicans. Is the Senate still safe?
It ain't safe. It ain't safe at all. Oh, my goodness.
It ain't safe. You want to know why it's not safe, guys? Because as much as you guys can talk, and I say this about the Democrats as well, our Democratic base is not enough. The Republican base is not enough. You guys don't win elections that way. You need independence, and he's drowning in independence. Now, this one's going to make you real mad, I think. This came out yesterday, so don't get mad at me. A year into Trump's term, voters say Biden was better. Oh no. Oh no. I don't even like him. Hold on. Let me put it in it worked this morning. I gotta go put it in the paywall remover for you. It's okay, just sit and stew on that headline, and then I'll get to the polling. My cat is yelling downstairs. I can hear her. Okay.
Stella.
Yeah. Like, girl. All right. President Trump has become so politically toxic that voters now say Joe Biden, whose unpopularity forced him into early retirement, did a better job as president, according to 3 new polls. 1 year in, Trump has squandered virtually every advantage that won him the presidency. The White House has 9 months to turn the ship around before a potential midterm wipeout for Republicans. 3 national surveys point to the same alarming trend for a president who's done everything in his power to erase predecessor's legacy. What I love about this is they actually cite the actual polls. So if you click on it, Rasmussen is going to be the most right-leaning. They've always been Republican-friendly. I don't know why that didn't open it. I'll have to open it on the main one probably. But this will take you to those polls. You can go find them. You can search them. But Harvard Caps Harris polling says Mark Penn's polling firm found that 51% of registered voters say Trump is doing a worse job than Biden, compared with 49% who say he is doing better. Rasmussen, the Trump-friendly pollster, is fending off MAGA criticism after finding that 48% of likely voters say Biden did a better job as president compared to 40% who chose Trump. Another 8% said the 2 presidents have performed about the same, which isn't any better, to be honest. And YouGov says this survey found that 46% of U.S. adults say Trump is doing a worse job than Biden, compared with 40% who say he's doing better. Another 7% said about the same. 1 year into Trump 2.0, his MAGA movement is making a similar case that Americans are discounting how much Trump has done to curb the record border crossings inflation of the Biden years. This is going to be a spokesperson from the White House. Nearly 80 million Americans gave President Trump a resounding election day mandate to end Joe Biden's economic disaster and immigration crisis. The Trump administration remains laser focused on continuing to cool inflation, accelerate economic growth, secure our border, and mass deport criminal illegals. His signature issues are now liabilities. 49% of adults strongly disapprove of how Trump has handled border security and immigration, according to a new NBC News poll. Trump net approval on the economy, -18, is 26 points lower than it was at this point in his first term, and 53 points lower among independents, according to, that's literally what we just watched. We just watched with Harry Enten, is 53 points lower among independents, according to CNN polling analyst Harry Enten. Young voters have cratered. The YouGov Economist poll found Trump at -42 net approval among 18 to 29-year-olds, a 51-point swing from +9 at the start of his presidency. So he's falling apart. It's not good for you guys. Okay. I wanted to show this one real quick, too. Do you guys remember when, in Minnesota, W for hitting a follower goal over there. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the follows on the Twitch. Thank you guys so much for that. All right, we have, how many likes do we have real quick? Let me see how much I have to shame you all. Maybe you guys like it. Maybe you like the shaming. Maybe I need to praise you. Do I need to praise you? You guys are doing wonderful. 69,000 likes. You guys are doing fucking amazing.
Hey, yo!
Which means, my good little boys, girls, theys, and thems, if you guys could keep tapping that screen to get to 100,000 likes within the next 12 minutes, I would be super fucking grateful. Do we remember the supposed attack on ICE agents with a shovel and a broom handle? Olive,
You mean the one they lied about?
Olive might remember, because she went live that night where they shot the person suspected of doing this and that they had retreated into the house, right? That was something that they had told us. So this was how it was reported on Fox News. Attempted murder. An ICE officer is fighting for his life after he was allegedly ambushed with a shovel and a broom handle by 3 illegal immigrants during a traffic stop that quickly spiraled into a foot chase, a violent struggle, and gunfire. DHS identified the illegal immigrants as Julio Cesar Sosa Celis, Alfredo Alejandro Ajorna, and Gabriel Alejandro Hernandez Ledesma. Excuse me for that last one. All Venezuelan nationals now in ICE custody. What we saw last night in Minneapolis was an attempted murder of federal law enforcement, DHS Secretary Noem said. Well, that's interesting. The United States of America, by and through its undersigned attorneys, hereby respectfully moves the court for an order to dismiss with prejudice the complaint filed in this matter against the defendants Alfredo Alejandro Aljorna and Julio Cesar Sosa Celis, pursuant to Rule 48A of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure. Newly discovered evidence in this matter is materially inconsistent with the allegations in the complaint affidavit. This is the government's motion to dismiss. That's the Trump administration. They said, oh, oops. Another stumble and a fall in the courts. But this was from their own. Such a big deal, but the cases are getting dismissed. All right. Let's get to this fucking nominee. I'm not sure exactly what his position is meant to be, but he's going to be working within the State Department. So Chris Murphy comes in to question him. Why are you not loading? Load.
Is it that Kevin person?
Is that his name? I have to see when his little name tag thingy pops.
Kevin Walsh or something?
Oh, that's the Warsh is the guy I think that he plans to nominate for Fed.
Yeah, to replace Powell.
Yeah, no, that's not. I don't think that's this guy.
Oh,
This guy
okay.
is a full-on white nationalist. So there's that. I'll turn the phone lines back on, I guess, if you want to call. There was a guy trying to call, but I'm not talking to that one guy again. And then we'll play this.
Mr. Carl, I think it's just heartbreaking that you have been nominated for this position and that you've reached a panel before the United States Senate. But I do want to give you a chance to go a little bit deeper in your explanations of your personal beliefs. They are directly relevant to your fitness to serve. You already have had some of your statements read to you, but I'd like you to respond to at least a few of them. One of the things you have said is that anti-white discrimination is the most pervasive and politically salient form of racism today. So do you continue to believe that anti-white discrimination is more salient than the discrimination faced today by blacks, Latinos, Muslims?
And yes, no, I don't like that Chris Murphy said what he just said. Say people, motherfucker. It's not that hard. It's an extra word. Goddamn.
Or other American groups?
Well, Senator, thank you for that.
No, so this is Jeremy Carl.
He looks like a white supremacist.
He's going to be Assistant Secretary of State for International Organizations is his nominee position.
They make up positions, I'm convinced.
Yeah, I also that.
Question, and thank you also for giving me an opportunity to speak at a little bit of length. I haven't necessarily had much opportunity to respond.
I'm going to have at least one more question for you, so I'll give you a minute or two to respond.
Yes. So thanks to the great work of my friend Harmeet Dillon as the Assistant Attorney General of Civil Rights, I actually think that we've done an incredible job in this administration of getting rid of certain policies that discriminate particularly against white Americans, but also in some cases Asian Americans.
Well, just maybe answer my question. Let's rewind. Because maybe you'll suggest that everything is fine now. Let's rewind.
Legacy. I didn't say he looks like a white supremacist. I said he is one. Just wait. You'll hear it.
Yeah.
A year ago, were white Americans the most discriminated against group in the United States? You said it. So
yeah.
Senator,
no, certainly this is my belief. I'm not running away from that. I think that while, of course, all races in different contexts can be subject to really severe discrimination, that when we look at our legal structures, white Americans are often very disfavored in overt ways.
So there's that one. Chris Murphy goes at him again. Hold on. I'll bring it up.
Tell me how you define white identity and what you think is being erased about white identity.
Certain types of Anglo-derived culture.
What's being erased, I'm just going to say my personal opinion, what's being erased from white identity is the receding motherfucking hairline in this country and the wild comb over, the bags under the eyes. That stuff tends to go away when you actually have diversity and seasoning in your fucking food.
That comes from our history.
Like what?
Let me think about this. Senator, I would say if you were to look at the book by one of your former Senate colleagues, Born Fighting, about the sort of Scotch-Irish military culture and certain, pride that went with that, that would be one example. Obviously, you can have sub-elements of that culture. You could have Italians, you could have Irish, and those are in many ways more.
Yeah, but you're worried about white culture. You're not worried about you're now retreating to ethnic identity. You don't speak about ethnic identity. You speak about white identity. So tell me the values that stitch together white identity and that make it different than black identity.
I would say that the white church is very different than the black church in terms of its tone and style on average. Food ways could often be different.
Yeah, we use seasoning and you don't.
I was going to say the lack of seasoning is the biggest difference. Also, if you have ever gone to a quote-unquote white church and a quote-unquote black church, if you go to a Catholic church with a bunch of white people, you will fall asleep. Every single time I've gone to a non-Catholic church, but the other thing is historically they had to change how church was when black people got together to practice and perform religion.
They couldn't.
Yeah.
And those
music could be different.
And those are being erased.
Music could be different. Well, if you look at the Super Bowl halftime show, which was not in English this year.
So our ability to access white churches or white food or white music is being erased.
I am concerned with the majority common American culture that we had for some time that through particularly mass immigration, I think has become much more balkanized, and I think that weakens us. And again, I'm not running away from that comment. I'm not apologizing for it.
Well, I'm way over my time. I think you're struggling to answer this question, right? Because underlying your beliefs is a sentiment that white culture is just simply better.
Bitch, where did your people come from?
What's white music? Can someone tell me?
I don't understand that English. That's not English either, but whatever. I digress.
I want to know what white music is, besides obviously country, because we know that. But even then, if you look at the historical ties to country music and folk music, that goes back to the black community. What is white music?
Somebody said bagpipes in the tube chat. That might be accurate, sure.
Not John Denver. I feel that. Quit that!
Now we got Tim Kaine going after him, too.
One of the things you said was American whites are victims of a cultural...
Somebody said rock and roll and metal. No!
No!
Sorry to disappoint you. Look into the history.
Look up your history, god damn it!
Riverdance, yeah, maybe. But also, Riverdance probably came from indigenous people in Ireland.
Eric said Lee Greenwood?
Lee Greenwood is white music, that's true. Star Spangled Banner, sure. Okay, sure, Star Spangled Banner. You guys don't even like that. You guys were bitching about the fact of how they sing it, who they choose to sing it.
Genocide. Where to start? So
somebody said metal Black Sabbath. Please listen to War Pigs slowly. Listen to it. Listen to the lyrics.
Next thing they're going to say Rage Against the Machine, I'm going to lose my... If someone says System of a Down, I'm quitting. I'm quitting TikTok.
Elevator music. No, because that elevator music stems from jazz, which is black. That's black community.
you'd agree with me, wouldn't you, that whites are pretty well represented in the United States Senate?
They are well represented in this body, yes.
And how about in the House of Representatives?
Senator Kaine, I don't have those particular numbers. However,
but you would agree that they're pretty well represented in the House of Representatives?
Senator, I would, again, thank you for the question. I would point out that there were no white Protestants by birth in the 25 cabinet members under Joe Biden.
How about in the ranks of American presidents?
Protestant by birth. I didn't know you could come out religious.
I love
I do.
Why?
I do love the Lord.
Can I just say, really loudly to all people who are white, cottage cheese complexion, my crackers, my saltines. We are not oppressed! Stop trying to think we are.
Stop trying to be the victims. It's weird.
Throughout history, including now pretty well represented whites.
Senator.
And how about in the ranks of vice presidents during American history? Now, whites pretty well represented in that group, right?
Senator, thank you again for the question.
Yeah. I don't think it's.
Oh no, did I make that math? Also, the way that Kane is wearing his glasses is sending me.
I love Tim Kaine. I love him.
Thank you for calling the stream. Age, state, who'd you vote for?
I voted for Trump.
Okay. Age and state?
Come again?
Age and state?
35, New York.
Okay. Why are you still supporting Trump?
Well, mainly because he's taking care of all the immigration issues.
How's he doing that?
What do you mean? You clearly see.
What long-form legislation has he passed to reform immigration?
He's got ICE on the duty. I don't understand.
What is he doing that's making it beneficial for the United States to get rid of immigrants?
He's getting rid of all the people stealing our tax money.
Ooh, show me where they're stealing our tax money. I would like to see that.
Oh, good. Well, glad you asked. We'll start with Minnesota. Ilhan Omar.
Ooh.
That woman has stole $30 million.
Okay. Do you have a provable source for that? I would love to see that.
Yeah, actually, it's all over. You can find your source almost on any website you go on to with her two.
Cite me one with statistical proof.
She's got two companies that her husband owns, and one point they were $5,000 to $15,000, and now it turned into, in less than a year, turned from that to $30 million.
It's anywhere from 6 million to 30 million is actually the number that James Comer gives. But again, these are accusations. This is not proof. So I would like to see proof of this. These are just accusations.
Yeah, well, it's kind of just like how you guys are trying to.
It's kind of just racism because you don't have any proof.
No, the only racism I felt was the entire stream that I've been watching.
Oh, that's
and
so
this
sad.
stream is really disgusting. You guys are literally bad-mouthing everybody. You're over here calling everybody a white supremacist. It makes no sense to us.
Chat, did I call everybody a white supremacist or just the white supremacists?
Pretty much you're talking about every single white person in this world being a white supremacist.
Just the white supremacists that we were listening to on the videos. That's the
Where was the white supremacy? Where was that white supremacy anywhere in any of that video? He was asked a question and he answered it with the most polite response he could give.
His answer was white supremacy, saying that mass
that was not white supremacy. So I don't know where you get your education, but you are not.
I'll put you on hold then. Saying that mass immigration and the changing of our culture, yeah, that's what I thought. That mass immigration and the changing of our culture weakens us is white supremacy. Just is. By the way, I had Ilhan Omar. I just want you guys to see what my screen looked like. Ilhan Omar, I was waiting. Obviously, I've had to search because y'all have talked about it enough. It's everywhere, but I can't cite you one motherfucking source. I can't cite you an indictment. I can't cite you anything that actually proves it. I just say things because of my fifis, because I have white fragility, and I'm a mediocre fucking man who can't. I love that he told me to come again because he didn't hear me. You couldn't make me come once, babe. I promise it's not for you. Spicy links are in that bio if you need some help.
When people come up defending the fact and getting upset about people calling out, incorrect actions done by white men, and you are coming up complaining about that, you are speaking louder than fucking words by what you say. I hope you are calling and getting upset because I want you to know that I proudly called you a cracker and I'm a white woman, so cry harder.
Oh no.
Thank you for calling the stream. Age, state, who'd you vote for?
Hi, yes. I'm from Oregon and I voted for Trump.
Okay, why are you still supporting Trump? What's your age? Sorry, I didn't get your age.
Oh, I'm 28.
Okay, why are you still supporting Trump?
Because I don't see that he's really changed from what he ran on. So not really policy-wise, but I just don't really see a reason to change my reason to vote for him.
What are you supporting?
What am I supporting? Basically, him helping the economy,
How did he do that?
Putting, I guess, Americans first.
How did he help the economy?
How did he help the economy? I think he's helping to stop fraud. I think that he's discouraging it by showing a force. The show of force in Minnesota.
What about all the fraud he has pardoned Is that really showing a strength of force in stopping fraud?
Oh, I haven't really seen that. What are you talking about?
Oh, so okay, you have let's go into his fraud pardons actually. Let me go find them again. We have the Chrisleys, who he pardoned. We have, what is it? I think Blagojevich.
Wait, who are they?
George Santos. Does it matter? These are people committing fraud in our country, and he has pardoned them. Is that not an issue?
What's
when
your
you
evidence
just
of
said
that?
he's going to?
I'd love to see your evidence of
his
that.
pardons in and of themselves. Let me go find the list.
I'd love to see the evidence of fraud that he pardoned.
Sure. Let me bring up his pardon list. Okay.
No, the evidence of fraud.
Of pardoning fraud. That's what I said. So, on January 16th, he pardoned Terrence Scott Pizer. He was sentenced to 42 months imprisonment, 3 years supervised released. His offense was securities fraud, insider trading, 2 counts. Let's see. We have
And what was the evidence?
Holly Ann Nadel, who was found guilty of conspiracy to commit money laundering and bank fraud. He pardoned her. David Levy, conspiracy to commit securities fraud, and convicted of securities fraud, and he was pardoned. The evidence is that they were convicted in a court of law.
They were convicted?
Yes, convicted in a court of law, and he gave them a pardon or a clemency.
I'm sorry, who was it again?
Who? Donald Trump or the people he has done this, that he has pardoned?
Well, let's just go into one example, because I'm not familiar with all of the different examples, so I couldn't really address each one.
So you have Terrence Scott Pizer, who was found guilty of securities fraud and insider trading, 2 counts. There's one. Oh, I didn't even read these ones. You had Wanda Vasquez Garcet, conspiracy. They were indicted, so he pardoned them before they even got their conviction. So we'll move past them because they didn't have their trial. So that would be unfair.
Yeah, I don't see that.
I'm literally on justice.gov. Go ahead and find justice.gov, and you're going to find the clemency grants by President Donald J. Trump, 2025 through present. Clemency grants by President Donald J. Trump, 2025 through present. Guys on the YouTube chat, I understand that all
honest. That doesn't really convince me. That doesn't pull at my heartstrings as an average.
It's not meant to pull at your heartstrings. This is logic-based conversation, and you said that he is doing a great job at being at the forefront of stopping fraud in this country, which is interesting because he seems to be pardoning it. But it doesn't really matter because capitalism wins the day.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
W Jedi for this Swan on the TikTok. It's not my fault you guys can't research shit. If he's going to be at the forefront of stopping fraud, then he damn sure better not be pardoning it. Stupid. Be smarter. Guys, 91,000 likes. I think that we can get there. It's afternoon, so we missed the goal that I like to hit, which is 100,000 likes before noon, but I think that we can definitely do that. All right. I have those
Did
off.
you see my message in the mod chat?
Let me look. I'll play Tim Kaine and this guy while I look at that.
It's hard. How about on the United States Supreme Court? Throughout our history and including now, whites are pretty well represented on the United States Supreme Court, correct?
I think obviously historically, I would of course agree with you. Of course, the vast
That you posted or that Scotty posted?
I said mod chat.
Oh, mod chat. I'm in the wrong chat. Okay, never mind. I was like, wait.
majority of Americans were white at that time. It's now a much more diverse society.
Let's focus on right now. How about in the ranks of American governors? You think whites are pretty well represented?
I would just have to look at the numbers. I don't know.
Okay, how about this? In the ranks of CEOs of major corporations today, you think whites are pretty well represented?
Senator, thank you for the question. I suspect that they are probably pretty well represented in that. But there are other areas where they're not as well represented.
How about in the ranks of high-income people? And we can define it however you want. Let's just say like top 10% of wealthy Americans. You think whites are pretty well represented?
Senator, thank you for the question. They would certainly be underrepresented with respect to Asian Americans, but they would be overrepresented with respect to other groups.
Yeah. You know, a cultural genocide, that's a stiff claim. And it's an interesting one because it's kind of a white victimhood argument. But if I remember my colleague, Senator Rosen, she was reading comments to you where you had been saying, man, Jews play the victim. Jews like to be the victim. Ooh, and yet you're making a a claim that whites are victimized by a cultural genocide when all the statistics would say, not just in history, but today, that whites are very well represented at every level of every institution. They're very well represented in the incomes of Americans. And that doesn't mean each person is high income or each person is a Supreme Court justice, but you could look institution after institution in this country, and the facts completely rebut the notion that whites are victimized by a cultural genocide.
Thanks for the self-promo, Tim Kaine, on your video.
That's my senator.
Don't tell me he's not a white supremacist. Well, he gets asked again about his views, and he doesn't deny his views at all. He doesn't deny his views, but he says that if he gets appointed to this job, he's still going to have a day job he has to do. So regardless of his views, he's going to do his job, right? Like, yeah, that sounds really fucking trustworthy to me.
You've argued that feminism has led to a downfall in American society. You've written that the Civil Rights Act has warped American culture. You've argued that the United States should be a white Christian nation. You also wrote that a post-feminist America is...
She's citing what he has written. This is somebody that the administration is appointing as a nominee to the State Department. Just make sure that seeps in a little bit.
one of falling fertility, rapidly rising out of wedlock births, and religious collapse. In October of 2024, you stated on the Christian Ghetto podcast that, and I quote, "Jews have often loved to play the victim, that the Holocaust dominates so much of modern Jewish history, and that Jews love to see themselves as oppressed." In 2024, you wrote that you want America to be a Christian nation, and you continued to make anti-Semitic and racist comments even after your nomination was announced last year. You know, Mr. Carl, in this committee, we've heard from many nominees who have said things that we don't agree with. But since your nomination, you've tweeted more than 850 times, appeared on 5 podcasts, and repeated this language. This is a pattern. So how can this committee trust that you can represent the United States of America to the rest of the world in an unbiased manner when you have taken no steps to restrain your conduct after your nomination?
Senator, thank you very much for this this question. I didn't recognize a couple of those quotes, but I'll...
well, they're accurate.
I'll take your word for it that they are, in fact, accurate for the record. Senator Shaheen, I'm greatly understand the importance of restraint and conduct. I unfortunately have to balance that with my current job, which involves advocacy. And I can't, as I've explained, just totally put away my day job. I'm not being offered a job here yet. I'm trying to hopefully be offered a job.
So I can't get rid of my day job of being a bigot. I still got to make sure they pay me to be a bigot. But I'd like this job here where I definitely won't be a bigot. Right? What the fuck is wrong with y'all? There was a lot more. There was representatives doing questioning in regards to things happening in Minnesota, and Todd Lyons, who I did the House committee. He spoke in front of the House committee. He then went and spoke in front of the Senate. I have a lot of stuff in regards to that. Senator Rand Paul, and Dr. Rand Paul eats him the fuck up. Eats them up. They're very clear. They disagree with the administration, actually, to kind of cover their own asses, which is why we know that Nuremberg is coming. Leyland Cubis, I'm not sure if I said your name right. I probably said it wrong. We'll say Lala. Thank you for the jewels on the Tubes View. But I have a lot of that. I can get into that sometime next week. But just for the funsies, we will end with this. I told you all about it this morning in Olives. If you haven't seen it, holy motherfucking Christ, this is the guy who is in charge of Health and Human Services.
And I said, I'm not scared of a germ. You know, I used to snort cocaine off of toilet seats. And I know this disease will kill me. Right. Like if I don't. And I.
course he's on Theo Von's stupid podcast. What?
I hate hair.
The pain. Make it stop.
This is someone who people are taking health advice from, talking about vaccines.
He's appointing boards to be in charge of the vaccine schedules and what vaccines are going to be the best and the healthiest for my fucking children.
Yep.
Your fucking children. This guy.
Yep.
Who said he's not scared of a germ because he snorted cocaina off of toilet seats.
I'm mad.
You should be. Everybody should be. That's fucking ridiculous. Yep. This guy, I didn't even get a chance to play that clip. I never did. It was from like a week and a half ago or so, where he said, oh no, I think maybe I did play it. What? Because he blamed schizophrenia for something, and it was like it was insane. It was insane. Gross. Fucking disgusting. I just want y'all to know. Something's wrong with you.
Do you care if I shout something out real quick?
Oh, of course not. Go ahead.
So tonight at 8 p.m. Central, Manny will be coming on my panel to debate immigration 1v1. And I would love nothing more than if everyone could come in, support, tap the screen, do all the wonderful things.
I'm so excited that he's coming back. Manny's coming back to do immigration.
I'm so excited. Not only just because Manny is intelligent and everyone should support your Black content creators, I'm also biased. So make sure you guys come in and support, do all the wonderful things, do all the great, fantastic stuff that we need to do, and stuff.
Adam Nichols in the Tubes chats. RFK would hate my local bar owners. A former state highway patrol. He coats the seats in WD-40 so that the substances melt. That's crazy. Do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. Damn, my voice is loud. Turn the volume down or scroll away. You don't have to be here. Cry harder. You guys. You guys are so good. Good. I love you guys. You did such a good job. Good job, little babies. Thank you so much for hitting that 100,000 like goal. We did it. It was a little bit of a struggle today, but we were able to do it. I think that we can start aiming for 75,000 likes an hour. I think we can do it. So I believe in you guys, and I appreciate you for tapping. Who doesn't use their phone for that? Well, that's the thing too. I don't know. Like, is there not like counters and sync counters in these bathrooms? I don't know what parties he's been to where you have to do it off of the toilet seat, but you know, I digress. Whatever. Not my business. I don't get it, but sure. Hello.
I just want to point out that that's how bad the economy is, that even a man from a political dynasty is doing coke off of toilet seats and not like a snuff box or a little mirror in his pocket or the baby changing table.
This guy, I didn't even get a stream on in the background. You're killing me.
Oh, sorry, I'll lower it. All right, that's all I had to point out. W Justin in the YouTube chat.
Yes, W Justin. In the trenches, Justin. Justin says, I can handle it. Good job.
Leave me up here till someone pays to kick me, though.
That's not, I'm getting ready to leave. What do you mean?
Like, you can do it on the baby changing table with the baby there. Like, come on, y'all.
Jesus Christ. I can't with you.
So tonight at 8 p.m. Central, Manny coming on my panel to debate immigration.
Men. Let's see. Who are we rating? Has Amanda been on long, or did she just start? You got swan when you came up. It's crazy. That guy's a beta. Yeah, I'm sure he is. And we're gonna have a beta fun time watching Water for Elephants tonight. I'm so excited.
I see Amanda and I also see Matt.
I just don't know if Amanda's been on long, if she doesn't stay on for very long a lot of the times.
Oh, I have no idea. Our safe bet is just to rate Matt though, but everyone needs to put L Matt in the chat when they go in.
You put Monty rates and then do L chats as well, or L Matt. L Matt. We can definitely don't L the chat. That's rude. That's us. So we can definitely go and do that, guys. I appreciate you. W again, big W's to Todd for knocking the fuck out of my goal today. I appreciate it so much. He said that I deserve it and that I'm awesome. And you know what, Todd, so are you. Even though you are our resident A-tab, we still love you. Thank you so much for all the support that you give to community members here across TikTok. Also, thank you, Peter, you know, for your 2026. How dare you? How dare you? With the decimal point, it's rude. Also, you, Steve. That's facts. Thank you for the 1127. How dare you? And Jillian, thank you so much as well for the 10. I didn't see your response. If you wanted me to send that back or hold it as a kick, I can absolutely do either one. Not an issue. Just reach out to me and let me know.
Yep. She said hold it in the chat.
She said hold it?
Yeah.
Okay, I wrote it down so I don't forget. So I hold it. I've got it. Holding as a kick. All right, so we're gonna go raid Matt, guys. I appreciate you on this Friday. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna actually start doing midterm Mondays on Monday. So this upcoming Monday will be the first midterm Monday. I'm not gonna have like a huge outline or whatever the fuck. We're just gonna be
Same time?
Same time, 10 a.m. Mountain time. Whatever time that is for you with your woke ass fucking.
So look at that, guys. You don't get a whole day of Olive. You get Monica too.
Yeah, look at that. So then we can talk about anything that you guys might have questions about in regards to your midterms. Who's on the ballot? Do you have ballot measures coming up? What are your primaries? Things you need to focus on really from the local level upwards. So I'd appreciate it if you guys would tune in for that as well. So we will see you then. So make sure, we are doing all the good things when we go into Matt. Like Olive said, do Monty Raid and do L Matt in there. That's how we support our friends in this community. We're
L Matt.
all super loving. Love you guys, and I will see you next week.
Woo!